Hey guys, this is Jim Fix, aka Fillmore. For those of you who love QF, a podcast about Howard Stern, and would like to donate some money, there's two ways now you can do it. You can join our Patreon page, which is listed in the graphic you're seeing now. But also, if you'd rather not do a subscription-based thing, even if it's $1 a month or what have you, you can use our PayPal account, which would be jimfix76@gmail.com. And you can donate whatever you like, however you like, one of those two ways, and we'd more than appreciate it if you'd like to do so. Thank you very much.
I have zero inbox. Do you know that? We do another contract here. Let's do a 3-hour show. We should be done right now.
Well, you're having this negotiation with me. That's the only problem.
Well, who am I supposed to negotiate with? Right? And the one thing I don't respond well to is humiliation. I don't respond well to it at all. I don't want to be told what a shithead I am. I don't want to. Those days are over. I've suffered enough in this business. I don't need to find out what a shithead I am.
Are you ready for this?
You cut your hair, man. What'd you do? What's going on?
I'm getting old.
So what?
I can't keep it like yours.
I'm old too. So what?
Yeah, but you're ugly.
Thanks.
Jesus.
What are you saying? I need the hair?
You need it.
No,
you need it.
It's just interesting when people have their kids on the air.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, if your kid was a fuck-up, you just keep them quiet.
I put my kids on the air more, but they want no part of it.
When you're trying to just have a friendly conversation, when he's irritable, the things you do every day become the wrong thing to do.
That's true.
He doesn't listen.
That's right.
But the most irritating thing of all is that we used to be good friends, and we just aren't anymore. I still love him, but he says everybody's expendable, and I just have to live with that.
I was going to look for a Nikki Hilton, but you see, those good-looking rich girls, they don't go for a guy like me because they don't need my money.
And Rickles tells me this story. So Beth says to Don Rickles, "Gee, I wonder what they say about me on my back." Don Rickles goes, "You? No one cares about you. You're not even that important.
No one says anything about you.
No one talks about you.
I don't even know you.
You're not that big."
I do have to ask, do you think there's a physical match between him and Beth?
Do you? Yes, they're both tall and have 10 fingers.
Yeah, they look right together.
I don't know, they look more right together now.
Or was this on the regular show? It just occurred to me that I listened to them.
It dawned on me 2 days ago. My hair's going to get crazy because I don't have I'm not going to get a haircut. And then Beth goes, "I'll cut your hair, but you can't cut my hair because my hair is curly. It's
hard to cut your hair.
Welcome everybody to QF, a podcast about Howard Stern. I'm your host, Fillmore, aka Jim Fix, and with me, as always, is the breakdown specialist, Raven. How are you, Raven?
I'm doing great. Glad to be here again, and let's get rolling.
Yes. The other day, it's like Christmas when I get these things, but I different time schedule, like I'm on the other side of the earth. So when I woke up and Raven had sent me this blind from Crazy Days and Nights, which I love it. From Tuesday, May 11th, 2021. Today's blind item is called I'm Using It. And would you like to read it or would you like me to?
Oh, no, you go ahead.
Okay. There is an actress / comedian / radio host who used to also write books. She hasn't done so in a very long time. It has been a couple of decades. About 5 or 6 years ago, she was thinking of new ways to bring in income and decided she would write another book. In that book, she was going to recount some stories about this permanent A-plus list DJ who was no longer on his A game. The stories would have included the definitive account of whether his first date with someone special to him was, in fact, the date bailing on her paying client to have a chance with the DJ. It would also have told some other tales that have been all speculation in the past. She was dissuaded not only by the people of the DJ and also by a late night talk show host. You know who won't be dissuaded, though? That's someone special to him who already has a manuscript ready to go whenever the split happens. So I'm gonna take credit for this. We're talking about taking credit. Last time you got your stuff stolen from somebody at Reddit. Somebody went to Reddit with your findings. Dennis DeMarco sent you this blind.
Yes.
And then you sent it to me, and I laughed fucking hysterically because I knew immediately it was Sandra Bernhard because it fits all the bills. She's got a radio show now. She started in comedy, and she's been an actress as well for since this beginning of her career, pretty much.
Absolutely. She has not been on the Stern Show since 2014.
Yep. And in fact, she was she asked about it. Somebody asked about it on the on her radio show, and she poo-pooed it. Hold on for a sec. So I'll give thanks to Cormano again, our guy on Reddit who transcribes stuff like this so expertly. And it says that Sandra Bernhard, because Raven just mentioned how she hasn't been on the show in so long. She had been a regular appearing on the show once a year for decades. She formed a relationship with Howard over the years, even hanging out at his Hamptons house. And if you'll recall, guys, in our shitty, not our shitty, his shitty Channel 9 roast, she was in that kissing Richard Simmons.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So she was constantly on his show. And she made no mention of him since 2014, making things even more awkward. Sandra has worked in the same building as Howard since 2015, where she hosts the show Sandyland on Sirius XM. Any idea if that still exists?
I'd have to do some research on that. I didn't get a chance, but I just want to have some traction on my statement that she was last on the show in 2012.
Mm-hmm.
And she was last involved during the 2014 birthday bash.
Mm-hmm.
So that was her last real connection. He's avoided her in the hallways. There was some talk. I remember hearing a clip about her saying that he blew her off.
Mm-hmm.
And she had mentioned about coming on. And it even gets into how she called Gary to get on the show, or one of the producers. And basically they told her they're too busy and they have too much stuff to promote.
That's right.
And she called total BS on that, which I love.
Yeah, this is the quote. Someone asked, why aren't you there as a guest any longer? She says, isn't that the most ridiculous thing? I see Howard Stern in the hallways at Sirius all the time. I've gone out to the Hamptons and stayed with him and his wife, and we've been friends. It's like, what the fuck is wrong with you? They always play the old Sandy Bernhard interviews, and people will say to me, oh my God, you were brilliant on Howard. Yeah, no shit, it was brilliant. No one was even better on Howard Stern or David Letterman than me. The excuse that I get is he was only on 3 days a week and people have a lot to promote. That's bullshit. What's brilliant about Howard and David and me is that you have people on your show who are just fun and entertaining. Who gives a shit what anyone is promoting? Do you really want to hear that tired conversation about the character they play and the motivation? Who fucking cares? So that's, I mean, it makes perfect sense that this would be her. All the clues fit. But then when it talks about, okay, the date bailing on her paying client to have a chance with the DJ, paying client. Now this doesn't necessarily, we don't presuppose that she was an escort. She could have been bearding for this fella, this South African guy that she's talking about. I mean,
True.
it's just as likely. And then it says here the late night talk show host, friends of the DJ, people of the DJ, meaning probably Buchwald, but also a late night talk show host. It doesn't necessarily mean a current host. I think it was Letterman that told her don't do it because he goes back with her to the Comedy Store days.
Oh, that's a great thought.
Yeah, I mean, because people,
I would.
That would be Enty's way of sort of covering it up a little bit because maybe it's Kimmel, maybe it's so and so. I'd say it was Letterman.
Yeah, it could be very misleading because people think with Kimmel being so involved with the show, and even like the other Jimmy Fallon, he's connected to Wiggy with the Hamptons and been on the show and all that. But Letterman is more of Sandra's generation, so it makes more sense.
Yeah,
and Letterman does not exactly have a great reputation for womanizing.
Oh,
so,
God. Well, a great one.
Let's not get into that right now.
Depending on which side you stand.
What a mess.
No. Yes, it is. It is horrible. Yeah. So anyway, I saw that and I go, the only thing I don't believe is because we talked about it before. What would she kind of get for a manuscript of her life, with him? Who would care? He has so few listeners now. Would this book sell?
Oh, yeah. It would sell. I don't think it'd be a New York Times bestseller. I think that tons of people like us would either get the audio version or be important enough for us to discuss whatever she would put out. Yeah, I think people are really the tide is really turning on Wiggy. Like, I have never heard so many stories of people unsubscribing from Sirius after the Ellen show. We just had a guy today post, and it all seems to be kind of coming to a head with these articles from the National Enquirer, the Post, the New York Post. And, our site is still growing steadily.
Right. And
the YouTube comments and the chats are growing. So it's just people have had enough.
Yeah.
They see through it, and it's so obvious. But because he just signed 5 years, people are kind of like, do I really want to do this for another 4 or 5 years? And I can't blame them. I do it because it's part of my job. I do it because it's a habit. And I know so many people kind of rely on us for information because they're not listening. So we do a service. It's a great group of people to be with. And what better way to listen than with other people who are thinking like-mindedly that, this is trash.
Yeah, like-mindedly.
I can't understand this.
Like-mindedly, but not to the exclusion of admitting if something is actually good, let's say. So if it's something like if an interview went well, like the Arsenio one, I gave him props, I think, which I rarely do, but I gave Wiggy props for actually getting a good interview out of Arsenio, but that was mostly due to Arsenio volunteering information. It was not something that, like, he wanted it to go down a certain angle, and he'd ask a certain question that we all know the textbook questions, but then Arsenio would, by the same token, just take it where he wanted to go and answer questions that weren't being asked, basically. And he had good stories. So when there's a situation like that, we're going to be the ones to say, no, that wasn't too bad, or I thought something was actually funny. We're not going to go the opposite way, like that proper modulation podcast, and tell you we love the show. And neither we're not going to trash every single thing, but we're going to take what we want to talk about. And by the way, guys, we do not promote this show. We do not promote it anywhere else, like on other Facebook groups. We let that other people do that. Reddit, I don't even post there anymore, except to answer, to respond to certain things, but I don't promote the stuff there anymore. If people want to do it, that's up to them. But and it's still growing, so that shows you there's somebody out there. When they listen to one episode, they usually get hooked.
It's really funny that people just kind of find us by chance because the Howard Stern name, or word of mouth. Sometimes it gets recommended to friends of friends. And I think the algorithm in YouTube might actually be working in our favor just a teeny bit, but I can't really give them credit. I have no proof of that. Yeah. I'm just happy that we're growing. People are coming along, and we get a lot of nice comments. So thank you, everybody.
Yep. And the last time we were on this particular clip, guys, that I'm going to play was March. It was March 30th. It was all about jazz part 1. We're going to continue on from there because that was a 4-minute clip and we only got a minute into it. It was called Jennifer Witz's Woman Hear Her Roar. So we'll continue with that.
He's a dyke. The other day I was wearing a cute sundress. You following me? I looked great. But I couldn't wear it because I don't want to look hot in front of people who work for me. I don't need human Newman bricking up all the time during an all-hands meeting. Son, it's not easy.
Right. You see, this is what women are going through in the workplace who are rising to the top.
Yeah,
Jennifer,
they look in their closet and they've got us, that's too hot. That's not hot enough. I don't want to look like a dyke, so put a better heel.
Jesus, the language. It's hard to hear this now that it's such a woke time that you can't even use these words, but they're just freely going on about it.
Yeah, they're going to have at it, and it's still Wiggy the Womanator, no matter what.
Oh yeah.
On that show, that's terrible to make all those decisions.
Absolutely, Quivers. I knew you'd get it. You think Jim Meyer has to stand in front of a mirror and ask himself, does this smoky eye make me look like a slut? Of course not.
Right. Well, you seem to be doing... Yes.
Yes. Go ahead.
Well, I was saying you seem to be doing a good job. I mean, I haven't left my house since you took over, but it seems like the company's running well. I listen to all the channels, and I think you're...
Listen to all the channels. He doesn't listen to his own. Oh, my God. Do we need to go through the full duration of this clip? I just wanted to tie it into the last episode. Do you think the whole thing is worth it? Because there's two more of Jennifer Witz, faux Jennifer Witz.
Let's do 30 seconds and then
Okay.
we'll ditch.
Okay.
And by the way, I like your attitude. You sound like a drill sergeant. I like how you come on strong.
Thanks so much, Stern. Yeah. Of course the company's running well. I don't take a break. I don't do anything other than work on Sirius XM, Pandora, Stitcher. You got no idea what's going on behind the scenes. You just focus on being fart man and making your dick jokes or whatever it is you do, and I'll focus on acquiring new companies. You follow, Stern?
Right. All right. Well, okay. There's the plan, Robin.
A
We're
good
going to make
division of work, I think.
Right. We're going to make the dick jokes, and Jennifer's.
Okay. Now it's clearly meant to diminish her, like at every level, just to have the impression. First of all, it's clearly meant to like spit in her face. And then mock also the acquisitions that SiriusXM got with Stitcher and Pandora, and I believe iHeartRadio, but I can't say for certain. I should edit that now and just look in, but I'm not going to, guys. I'll just go out on a limb. And because he doesn't think anything of these apps because they're all podcast apps, right? You know.
Yeah, and Pandora is a music one, but even Pandora links back to Sirius with like Tom Morello stuff. Some of the stations, I actually have the Pandora app, so I listen to it. And it's funny because those stations or those companies, the Stitcher, the Pandora, they might be the only thing keeping Sirius afloat at some point or sellable to other companies. Yeah. So he's downplaying it because it's not about him. That's all. Yes, I mean, it's total MPD.
I think that's it. Yeah, that's the main takeaway. There's only a little left of this. Let's play 30 more seconds and then maybe we'll bail.
Is going to keep buying new companies that we don't understand. Right. Okay.
Right. Hold on 1 second. I got to take this call, Stern. Hold on a second.
All right.
What's that? That was Ren Zheng Fei. We just acquired Huawei Technologies. Yes.
Wow.
Wow. I didn't know you spoke Chinese. All right. Yes. Very good.
Oh, come on. I speak Chinese. I speak Serbo-Croatian. You don't know the half of it. Just because I'm a woman, you thought I didn't speak Chinese, son?
No, you have to work harder than him.
Oh, my God. So it's complete mock fest. It's complete shitting on Jennifer Witz.
Yeah. And it's totally inappropriate. It's more Ching Chong Charlie don't surf here anymore.
Yeah.
It's awful. But this is how he passive aggressively gets back at her, who I doubt will ever be on this show. She'll never be a Chia like we talked about in the last episode.
Yeah.
And he can just get out whatever bitchiness, his bitchy queen side when he's having the imitation done of her.
Yeah. And by the way, guys, I'm going to apologize for this particular episode because some of the sound levels on the clips, it's not the sound levels of the clips. The sound levels of Howard versus Robin are sometimes so far out of whack that it sounds like we're taking the volume and turning it up and down. And I can only equalize so much before my wrist breaks off from carpal tunnel syndrome. But at any rate, we're going now into March 31st and we're going to go straight into April. This first clip is called Take That, Arsenio and Eddie.
Watching the movie, and I'm
the
so
movie
glad
is called Nobody. I promise you. You know I don't bullshit you. If I didn't like the movie, or I'd say, hey, I didn't get to see the movie. I saw this movie. My wife loved it. I love it. I'll tell you how much I love it. I will watch it again.
Yeah.
Because it's my fantasy.
So basically that first 15 seconds is what we wanted. He basically admitted if he doesn't watch a film, he'll always bullshit a fucking person and say, I couldn't get it to work.
Even Emily Blunt brought that up this week in her interview, that she's like, I've heard you say if you don't like something, you'll say you didn't see it. Ooh. So she even called him out on a couple things. So when we get to that, we get to it. But that was one of them.
Okay. The next clip was called A Love Fest Between Mr. and Mrs. Magoo, but it's 3 minutes long. I heard it, and it really, I don't really think we need to play it because it's just Robin professing her love, and like schmoozing, and it's yeah. Go ahead.
This was really strange. Like he was done with the Bob Odenkirk interview.
Mm-hmm.
It went on an hour and a half, and then all of a sudden he's about to sign off, and Robin goes, "Wait a second," and she starts just going on this huge love fest of I just want to say something, how much, you mean to me, how important you are.
Mhm.
And then it got down to Fred, and then it got to Gary, but then I think it stopped. And then it was like nothing for Benji, nothing for anybody else.
Yeah.
But we'll play it. It was really odd, and it was very uncomfortable. Like she was on her deathbed or something, trying to give one last, just play this after I'm gone kind of thing. I'm not sure.
Do you want me to play it? Because it's 3 minutes long.
I think if we just get into her interrupting and the beginning of it.
Okay.
I mean,
and then the last
3 minutes
30 seconds?
is a lot. Maybe just do a minute and
Okay.
let's see what we get.
Okay.
All right. All right. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next time.
I wanted to say I love you. I love you.
To who? To me? Or to the audience?
And especially you.
Oh, no. I thought you were saying it to me. If you...
It is especially you. But you mentioned the audience, but I was just overwhelmed. I was like, I love you.
Oh, well, I love you. I mean, let's face it. Well, Bob was talking about the most important.
Okay. He sounds clearly like taken aback. He doesn't, it's so unexpected, right? And it's off script. We know they follow a script out now. So, and he has such a hard time saying I love you because he's an android, he's a gargoyle, whatever you want to call it. He's a fucking goblin. So do we go a little further into that?
It's incredibly foreign to him when someone actually gives him the love that he has desired so much his whole entire life and the praise.
Right.
And then he doesn't know what to do when he does get it.
Right.
And it's genuine probably from her. I'll give her that.
Yeah,
I'll say that she owes her life to him for carrying her all this time and allowing her a space to, speak up once in a while. But yeah, let's just do 30 more seconds. And you guys should get the gist of this.
Important thing for him as an actor is when he finally started to relax.
Yes.
During a performance. And, I spent many years in radio because of just being who you are. So there you go.
But it wasn't like I didn't want you. I knew that.
You knew it better
than
I did.
What I would do was sit we didn't work this way at the very beginning. I would just show up.
And also, by the way, guys, I have to apologize because when she gets on a roll, these fucking long, breathy, silence, like these, when you go through, it's like listening to some fucking British barrister, present their case.
Yeah, I don't think we need to torture people anymore, but it was just kind of awkward how she interrupted him, caught him off guard, sent him a true human emotion.
Okay.
And he totally derailed it by going off on like their history and their past together. Yeah. And then he deflected to Fred eventually and so Gary and Benji, but it just wasn't, he couldn't accept it. He couldn't say, thank you. You mean so much to me too. And I'm so glad that we've had this time together.
Okay.
Nothing like that. No real observance of what she said. He just kind of like went in a whole different direction. So she keeps trying to come back to that. And that's the next 2 minutes. You guys really aren't missing much. So,
okay. Well, hold on. Let me play the last 30 seconds just to be fair.
All right.
Let me see those glasses.
Are they square look with the dark? Yes, because I think I'll be able to see something.
Oh,
seems like
you think the bigger the glasses, the better you can see?
I swear. I think my glasses are too small. I'm going to get big, giant glass like Mr. Magoo glasses. I like Fred's. I'm going to.
Do you guys know who Harry Carey is of the Chicago Cubs? He was a famous announcer. Will Ferrell does a great impression of him. Well, he used to wear these like moon glasses.
Yeah.
And that's like what I picture these two in the next couple of years on the show.
Yeah. Artie did a great impression too. Every now and then he would bring it up when Lisa G came in, I think it was Robin brought in some glasses and he started fucking busting on her. He says, what kind of broad are you? He's like, of course they're Fendi. Anyway, let's keep going.
Find out the name of those.
That's I see a lot of people wearing the big glass.
We said we love you to Fred, but I draw the line on Gary, Sal, or Richard, or any of these guys.
We're not going to extend it
better say you love
this.
me.
I love them all. I love Gary, Sal, Richard. I do. I love them all. Anyway, there's Gary Puppet. I love you, Gary Puppet.
I love you.
It's so odd to hear Fred. Just like it's so like I can't even. It's surreal nowadays, to hear that.
Yeah, you maybe once a month you might get like a 2-minute conversation out of Fred. And this month was when he went to Montauk Point on his motorcycle. It was about vacation, but it wasn't on a Monday, it was on a Tuesday. It was like they were just putting in filler, or they were pre-recording on that Monday, but it was the second show for Tuesday. So hard to tell.
Yeah.
So I was wrong about the Gary. I'll admit that. Gary did not get in on the Love Fest. It was just Howard and Fred.
Well, the next clip you called Venmo because it's Venmo,
right?
And I know there was just a pronunciation thing, but then I changed it to Larry Curly and Venmo. So let me just play this one because he can't pronounce shit again.
You lost the bet.
I sent him a Venmo.
Oh, you did?
Payment.
What is Venmo? I don't even know that.
Venmo is another way you can, it's owned by PayPal, and it's a way you can pay people online or with your phone.
I don't want any of that Venmo. Just send me
Venmo.
Twice.
Venmo is the second cousin of Vin Diesel. So, Jesus Christ almighty. He keeps saying it. He says it a few more times and they talk about it. And he's like, no, I don't know what that is. Just give me cash. Fuck that. I'm thinking, okay, welcome to the, welcome to the new world.
And for people that don't know, Venmo is just an app that's connected to your bank where you can send money electronically to personal friends.
Yeah.
For us, I use it for like my landscapers. I use it for paying like baseball coaches, things like that, for registration fees. It's super easy and it's kind of better than PayPal. So
yeah, I've heard about it, and I some people have asked to donate using Venmo, and I told them I don't know that I use it myself that much, so not yet, but maybe in the future. Then he took a week off, and then we go into April 5th, guys. Believe it or not, we're in April. Thank God we had to skip April Fool's Day, but the fools are us for listening to this horse shit. And the first clip, number one, is I buckled Million Ant March, and this is when he talks about ants in his his Chimneyville.
Hey now,
did you fluff your hair this morning?
That music, Jesus Christ, it's so overmodulated, and then you're gonna start talking about his hair.
Oh yeah.
I think he should go on talk shows and just talk with that music behind him constantly. Like he should just live his life as if he's always being introduced as the show. You know what I mean?
I kind of picture Ralph behind him with a boombox, just like holding it up in the air, like
say anything
style, with the trench coat, everything.
Oh God!
Oh, don't ask what's going on. I couldn't wash my hair. Does my hair look horrible?
I've never seen it like this before.
I saw my mother for the first time in a year yesterday, and she looked at me and she went, "What's going on with your hair?"
He saw his mother for the first time in a year. That doesn't mean he hasn't had any calls or whatever, but I think isn't that bullshit? Hasn't he been to see them since?
I'm not sure that he's been to see them, because I think this was around the time. Remember, he was sick.
Yeah.
In the last episode. So he got the vaccine.
Uh-huh.
And it was kind of like the farewell tour before they went down to Florida.
Mm-hmm.
If you think about the timing of it, it was too early for Mother's Day that he went to see them.
Yep.
But yet they went and got T-shirts for her, and I forget, took an incense burner or whatever it was. And it wasn't that. That's a different story that Beef's going to tell. But they went to go see him.
Yeah.
He claims at first that they spent 25 minutes and then they got the bums rush out. Yeah. But it turns out later on he went back and was like, it was probably a little longer than that.
Yeah.
The drive from his house to their home, not to be too much of a creep here, is an hour 38 minutes on Google Maps.
Okay.
At the time that I looked it up, because people have figured out where they're staying. And so he was, complaining about it was not an easy drive on a Sunday. And I was thinking, how far could it be on a little island like Long Island? But turns out it's an hour, over an hour and a half to get there.
Mm-hmm.
So he had to, watch journal and fountain pen videos on his iPad, probably in the car. I'm not lying.
He's probably
That's true.
Like when he locked Emily and Allison and Robin and Fred out in the Bronx to get save himself by going back in the limo. He probably has a potty for himself in the limo, and in case he needs to piss or shit. I'm not.
God.
Yeah, exactly. No one needed that visual. Sorry, guys, I provided it to you. But let's continue with this one.
When you have curly hair, you have to. When is the last time you had a haircut?
Oh dear.
I go, Mom. It's not. It's like not that easy, with a pandemic. And well, with curly hair, you have to cut it.
Thanks.
No, I couldn't wash my hair this morning, Robin, because my bathroom is infested with.
Okay, I had to cut it off, guys. I'm sorry, but I love when he doubles down on the hair talk and the wig talk, because insists. If I keep saying hair, it's like magic. It's like hypnotism. You're gonna believe it's real, and there's still people saying it's real.
Oh,
guys, just get with it. Just get with the numbers. Let's continue.
Ants. I don't know where they're getting in from. Like, there's no food in there or any. I don't know what they're living. I mean, they must be eating my toothpaste.
What are they eating?
It is so gross. I got to get somebody in today. I got to get someone here. But
there's always something going on in that house.
Fuck, you're not kidding, man. I tell you, these little tiny ants, and I put my glasses down. All of a sudden, I put my glasses back on. I got an ant crawling across my face, and then I feel this tickling on my arm. I'm like,
it's like the swarm, only ants. Now, here's the thing: what fucking retard doesn't know about ant hotels and roach motels? You just drop a bunch of them certain places and it kills the whole hive.
Yeah, this is early April in New York. Of course the ants are going to come out. It's springtime.
Yeah,
everybody has this problem in their house. He's always had people come in and do stuff for him.
Oh yeah.
So his cheap ass cut back on this because of COVID.
Yes,
because he didn't want people in the house, and then all of a sudden he's got an infestation.
Oh yeah.
So he calls it. It's probably just the normal what you get. And there's so many easy hacks to fixing ants, like cucumber slices and cloves, because I have cats, so I have to be careful of what they eat and what I can't use spray in the house.
Yeah.
So anyway, they hired a guy to come in and fix it, but this is him. And wait do you hear more. It's pathetic.
Okay.
It's just pathetic for a 79.
Okay.
What's the matter with me? Ants. I don't know. They're everywhere. I guess with the change in weather, somehow they've managed to get into, and it's only in my bathroom.
So there's something, some opening in there.
Something.
Letting.
Beth just took an open box of Lucky Charms and hid them somewhere in there, and that's why the ants are in the bathroom.
All I can picture is her bedroom is just below it, and they got into her gummy bear stash in her drawer.
Totally.
And they made their way up looking for more.
Yeah. This next clip, number 2, is called "The Wig Grows Like a Weed."
I don't know. You know what? I can't get a haircut. Fuck it. I know I look like shit.
You had one recently.
Yeah, a couple of them. My hair grows like a weed. I mean, it grows. I got to get a haircut. I don't know when I'm going to get one. Fucking time. With the ants and.
So it was great seeing your parents.
Now that goes us into that gives us a direct line into the next clip, which is called "Wiggy is still a dickweed to his folks." So we're getting into the aforementioned visit.
It was great seeing your parents.
Oh yeah. I was like, oh my God, it's been a year, and it's like, so what?
Was there a big, I'm so glad to see you, like a rush over to hug you, anything?
Everybody's a bit nervous. Doesn't matter, from the pandemic now. My father goes, oh, just wave goodbye.
The sad part is I believe that he just doesn't want to see this asshole son of his.
I'm with you on that. I'm totally with you.
Yeah, and who would? I mean, look, no one's home. When he comes by, just tell the limo driver to fuck off. It's just I don't know, if you've ever seen Dennis Leary in The Ref, and the family's just completely dysfunctional. But in this case, okay, let's say he did go see them. Let's play out the rest of the clip.
Oh,
It doesn't matter.
So I gave him a hug, but I got to admit, I was nervous. I don't know what
Were
the fuck
ya?
he's got. Yeah, I mean, I don't like going near people anyway.
I mean, even
Yeah.
your parents, you didn't want to hug them?
No.
No, not really.
No.
What a cocksucker. Honestly, in this day and age, I mean, knowing okay, I'm sure they have a wonderful setup where they are. They're not wanting for anything, all that shit. But your kids come to visit you and they don't want to hug you unless there's only a couple reasons for that. Yeah, go ahead.
If you think about it, at the age of his mom and dad, both in their mid to late 90s, this could be the last time he sees them.
Yep.
And when your parents get to be of that age or have health complications, that's kind of in the back of your mind that, this could be the last time I see or say anything or do like a hug with them.
Yep.
So every moment should be golden at that point. And I know families have a lot of issues and stuff, but I'm blessed. I have a beautiful family. I love my mom and I love seeing her. So every time I see her, she gets a hug from me, even through COVID, if we're wearing masks or she's vaccinated. So all's good. It's just, he has no appreciation for life or humanity.
None.
And it just strikes me like you knew you were about to go down to Florida for however long. It's like a month. It's going on a month soon.
Easily.
So why not just take that opportunity, because you don't know. They're on borrowed time. They're in their 96, 92, 93.
Yeah, every day could be the next time. Okay, and yes, guys, yes, theoretically, every day's that could be the last day for all of us anytime we see people, but especially when you get into that age range. Next clip, guys, is called "Wig is Breaking Down," so it's a short one.
Your hair is upsetting me. Yeah, but yeah, I mean, now we're on the app. You can see my hair on the app. It's bad. So just brace yourself.
Oh, we know. We know, Frank and Wiggy. We know.
You did was it you or Kayla or both of you with Isaac? The three of you guys are like fucking monk squared. You took screen caps of certain videos and you took whatever, like a stylus or just phone like a mouse, and just did a little circular, like orange circle around certain parts of his hair, like flying off, his wig flying off.
Right. I like to highlight the forehead, the seam of the piece on the top, because his forehead seems to be going back farther and farther.
Yeah.
And it's funny because in the back, certain pieces are just sticking up like stalagmites or stalactites, whatever it is.
Right.
But it's so hysterical. I just do a wig update and I'm like, oh, I might get 3 comments, 4 comments, couple likes, but I get like 60 people commenting, and it's like, oh my God, for sure. And I just like to do that every couple of months, because he always claims he doesn't get his hair cut. So I'm like, okay, let's check it for growth. And somebody had a great point about, oh, that picture. You're showing me so much badness. But let me get back to the point I was making. Somebody mentioned that certain people have thicker hair that doesn't always grow longer, but it grows fuller.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of hair issues in the world, especially with women.
Oh, yeah.
Men losing their hair, and then, women having tons of issues. No matter what background you are, it's either thinning or it's you spend hours getting work done on it just to get it to look a certain way, just to get that approval or to feel good about yourself.
Yeah.
So much love to people who spend time on their hair. And usually when they spend that much time, it looks really nice. But in this case, I'm not sure what the hell to fucking think, because it's just, there's like, I don't even know what you call it, like water spouts coming out of his hair, and the hairline is receding. So whether or not he doesn't have it glued in right, or it's not sewn in correctly, I don't know. But he's said that he's having hair issues, and so I just thought Yeah, what a great moment, because I do watch the videos that they put out just to check on the studio, where they are, check on his hair. I'm not really listening to the clip. I'm just looking at the visuals.
Well, it always
and I'm also watching for, how much gray hair Bowie's getting.
Sure.
Any changes to like Robin's wig, which she's pretty stable on what she's got. And anybody else that just looks haggard or run down or beat up in these videos, staffers like Hein, like JD, they're in a lot of them. And you can just tell, but Ralph never is in a clip. They always use him on a phone line, never a video, which I find really odd. He doesn't want his place to be seen because it's probably just total trash.
It probably is, yeah.
So.
But it's funny. Well, the wig looks like the octopus in 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. I mean, it really just kind of appears and all these tentacles are coming out, and like Medusa and Clash of the Titans or some shit. And I think at some point someone needed to tell him, which you can't tell someone like that because they just have such an issue with their hair, that it looks like shit. Jay Thomas did one time. I think he goes, does it look silly on me? He goes, yeah. I think it does, because I'm not. It's not a question of jealousy or some bullshit. I started losing my hair when I was early 20s. I started getting receding hairline, and I decided, fuck it, it's all going. And once I saw my head shape, it didn't look like one of the fucking aliens from, was it Close Encounters of the Third Kind? I didn't mind it. It was just more shaving to do. That was all. And people got used to it real quick, and it wasn't an issue. I didn't think I needed to do the fucking comb over or get a wig or get a piece or get, the Guy Lafleur hair fax shit. So him to have that issue, he could go the little Steven route and just get bandanas, or just go bald. Someone did a Photoshop of him bald. He looks way, way better.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, not that he's ever going to be mistaken for an Adonis, but much better than what he's got on him now.
Yeah, he's too insecure to show just more face and less hair.
That's exactly it.
He used to mess with it more. Now he barely touches it. It's just whatever's on is going. Yeah. That's it. And he could do I know this would never work, but like headbands, bandanas, hats, ponytails, pigtails. I mean, guys with long hair have tons of options. The man bun's popular, but like with his stuff, no way. And just a side note, I have great affection for bald men, and I am kind of turned on by that in a weird way. So I hope other ladies out there feel the same way, because it's quite a cool look, and you pull it off. And I know quite a few people who do. And there's no shame in that. So guys, just listen up. Don't be so insecure about your hair and losing it. It's not that big a deal.
Blame your parents for shitty DNA. Don't get mad. Just get Gillette. Yeah. Let's see. Okay. Sorry. Going into that clip.
I don't care. I'm barely holding on. I'm not kidding.
Are you having a mental breakdown, or is this a physical thing? What is this?
Physical and mental. I'm mental and I'm physical. I'm telling you, man. I am telling you.
Jesus, that fucking dead air.
I know, the pauses are incredible.
It surprises me when I still hear them that frequently, because there was such a time when that show was just boom, 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 boom. It was almost manic. It was almost like, when you speed a recording up and you did, like, it was almost like listening to Gilmore Girls. Like there was never a piece of dead air ever, except if it was some waiting for a band to set up playing, something like that, but you still heard noise. And he was so cognizant of that fact. He wanted the listener, to have something to listen to at all times, no matter where it came from. And now it's like, fuck you, don't care, just checking right out. Number 5, limo life.
And by the way, it's no short haul for me to get there on Easter Sunday. So
no, I'm sure it was terrible traffic.
Well, I bring my iPad. I'm famous. I don't have to drive myself. So I sit in the back with the iPad.
Oh, okay.
And I watch this girl. She's got a blog. I'm into pens and journals now.
Is this the Adventure Denali thing?
I told you.
I think the Adventure Denali
bad.
clip is in the next day or the day after, but we're definitely going to get into that. So explain Adventure Denali to the rest of us, most of us who don't know anything about the fucking thing.
Adventure Denali is a young 20-something who posts on YouTube.
Yeah.
And shows how she decorates her journals and how she writes in them, and she matches her scarves to what she's writing with, and everything's super cutesy. And that's what our 67-year-old gargoyle is watching.
So who was the one? Lori Loughlin's daughter? Was that her name? What was her name?
Olivia Jade.
Olivia Jade was the one. So she's what, 19, 20, 21, 20?
I think she's 20.
Okay.
She might be 21 now.
Okay.
I lost track.
Hunter Schafer. I don't know, older now, 25, something?
Yeah, around there.
Okay. Jazz, underage still?
Sure. Oh,
okay.
For sure.
Okay. And Adventure Denali, 20 something, whatever. So all these, I've just listed 4 reasons why I use the word fagula on all these Photoshops, guys. Like any judge would just be like, fucking case closed. Like, just sentencing will commence as soon as I finish my coffee. And this is, I'm sorry, there's no guy in any age who's into this unless he's not quite sure of his sexuality or is quite sure. And he was batting for the right team, for the same team. I don't understand the fascination with this shit. Can anybody help me with the comments? Please tell me. Somebody.
I think it might have been on Twitter or on our thread, but I read a great post about how he's using these mentions of stuff as fodder for the show. Therefore, it can be chalked up to show money. Basically, research for the show, or it could be all charged to the Sirius account and be like, oh, I did all this for the radio, so why not charge Sirius for all of his supplies to research and give them content?
Wow. You mean to have the pens purchased by Sirius as research materials?
Possibly.
And all this stuff, and like using this stuff as a cover, saying, well, it's for the show, but it's actually for him.
Right.
Like we are not
thing.
we are not fooled. This is when he says he really enjoys this stuff, we believe it, because who the fuck else would? Only him.
He's such a weird being. I don't even know. And we had the whole backstory of how his dad loved fountain pens and he wanted to be a fountain pen in his dad's pocket.
Oh yeah.
So it's just odd to me. And the person who came up with this idea, I'm sorry, I don't have your name right now, but I give you total credit for that one. It wasn't me with that idea.
Okay. Well, let's continue, because otherwise, if I continue this way, I'm just going to fucking lose all energy in my body. Yeah.
You're cleaning pens in the bathroom?
This clip is dropping articles and shit is breaking, by the way, guys. My bad.
Yeah, I had it. Well, yeah, because during pandemic, my sink near my office broke down and now it's leaking. So, I mean, everything's just falling apart. I got to get somebody in here. Don't ask. Everything's falling apart. It's just annoying.
Roof staying up, Howard?
Yeah, now the roof so far is good. Although there is a little skylight that's leaking a bit. So I got to get that. I mean, there's just a million projects that have to be done. But the ants have got to be done today, like 10 minutes ago.
Skylight is leaking.
Oh my God. Can you imagine, like, Beth, I need you to get a ladder and get up here and caulk the ceiling, please. Also the sink is leaking. Can you please come down and get your wrench and tighten up the plumbing?
Well, according to a few more recent episodes, she's an expert in caulking. And so the thing is, okay, you've got a mansion, like this massive mansion, but those places, like any other house, need maintenance. If you don't have people regularly on staff to just do little things, dusting, vacuuming, just checking out and if it's Florida, God knows the amount of rain they must get when they're not there and when they are there. I mean, I don't know, what's Florida? I've never been to Florida. I assume it's just like rain central when it's, certain places. I've heard Orlando, for example, is the kind of place where it can rain solidly for 5 minutes, then stop, and there's sunshine, and then 10 minutes later, another kind of freak rainstorm.
There are rainy seasons in Florida.
Okay.
The summer's pretty dry,
Mhm.
but you'll get a quick shower that comes through and be gone in a couple of minutes.
Right.
But during the rainy season, when it rains, it really rains.
Yeah.
And then you've got hurricane season too, which we're just getting into now through October, which is usually May through October.
Wow.
So yeah, ants. I mean, there's so many things down there, but I don't believe he was talking about the Florida house at this time. He was talking about the New York house. This is the Hampton.
This is the Hamptons
Palace. Yeah.
Okay.
This is what did Alec Baldwin call it?
Versailles.
Versailles. Thank you.
Okay. Because I get confused now because what's happening, guys. We're going back so far, and he's in Florida now, but I'm still thinking, okay, it's April 5th. He could already be there, that kind of thing, and just trying to hide it. I'd have to check those videos out.
It's
somehow.
close. It's close. Yeah. He's trying to tie up all these things before he takes off.
Maybe that's it. Yeah. So number 7, checkout times.
I don't.
Wow, she's
is
90.
Is wearing it off? Is transcendental meditation wearing off?
Listen, nothing wears off 94. You know what I mean? Evidently, I think I learned a good lesson yesterday.
What?
And the lesson is, I better just go out and live my life. You don't want to make it to 94 or 97. You kind of just want to go
don't
away.
Preserve yourself so you can live a long one.
Yeah, I've kind of been in the psychology that I'm trying to preserve myself. Fuck it.
In this way, I kind of agree with him because most of the people I know that made it to that age, they were just completely immobile and unable to do anything for themselves, or they lost it mentally, or they physically were just a shell. But that reminds me of that. Did you ever see the episode on the Carson Show with that farmer from Toulon who's like 90 or something, and he's still an active farmer? It's one of the most charming episodes you'll ever see because he talks about, he goes, well, what's been the most amazing invention since the time you've been there? He goes, well, maybe electricity.
Wow.
Like it goes back, and it's funny as shit. Anyway, it's just one of the most amazing bits of interview I've ever seen in my life.
He's been talking a lot about death themes, and we've had a lot of eulogies of people of his timeline that are passing. Yeah. And like Tawny Katane passed away. She was 59.
Yep.
People younger than him passing away.
Yes.
Also, it's he's had blood work. He's had doctor's visits. Remember, he went to the eye doctor and the dentist, and he got sick from being there and got his blood test done.
Yeah, the dentist.
So, yeah, he's just facing a lot of real life issues that he doesn't want to right now. And but I don't believe he's ready to check out at all. He's going to hold those marbles in his cold, dead fist as long as he fucking can.
Oh, yeah.
Because we all know what's important to him, and it's the almighty dollar.
Mm-hmm, absolutely.
That's all he cares about.
We're going to go to the next clip, which is number 8, property manager Beefus, a.k.a. Mrs. Roper.
What? Oh, here's my wife. Good.
So,
come on in.
Hi.
Wait, honey, come in here.
I have cat poop. Do you want me to buy that stuff, or do you want me to have the guy come today?
I think we got
the guy. Make sure the guy comes over. Definitely the guy. This is the thing. I had to cut this up again. This reference, my wife, as if we don't know after however many fucking years together that it's Beth. You say Beth. Why wouldn't you say Beth? You say my wife. We're going to go over this another time when we've done it already. Ownership. Is it just like detachment? Oh, my wife, that wife creature, that thing, the beard, the contract, that person. Though, her, him, that, whatever it is. Is that what it is?
It's the beard thing. It's reinforcing that she's the wife.
Oh, my employee's coming up the stairs. Hold on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay.
Got to do both. I think we got to take action. I think we should, we got to get someone to pick up that stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I can order it right now.
No, if you order it, it won't come for another day. I got to get it. Somebody get it. Don't you think?
Want me to do that whole treatment and then still have somebody, just either or?
I think we need to get an expert in here, but we also need to get the other stuff. We need to take action.
You don't think the expert would have the other stuff?
I need an ant remove. I need ant extermination tutor.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. This next clip is ties into the Stamos blow off, in which they were supposed to have Stamos in for an interview that on the 5th, but it ended up being the following day or days later. I can't remember exactly, but it's called Stamos Schadenfreude. Yeah. Schadenfreude. Sorry.
Stamos postponed a day.
Yes.
For whatever reason that was never clearly given. And Wiggy kind of shat on him for that. So
yeah. And that's what you're going to hear. Yeah.
There's a
I
clip for
thought
Johnny.
it was big shots, big shot.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was nice to see John getting older, too. You know what I mean?
What do you mean? He looked old to you?
No, well, let's just say he's getting older. It's good. He's mature.
Now you're going to give him a complex.
Fuck him. He's got it too good. I FaceTime with him.
Yeah, okay. He was going to say, whatever he looked like when he was FaceTiming him. But the fact is, John Stamos, no matter what he does, is going to end up being an older, good-looking guy. He's never not going to be good-looking as far as you just know. These people in your life, they just get more attractive, guys or girls, and they end up being with guys. It's especially more unique because they don't have to worry about the same shit. He just has to make sure he's in good, like physically in good health, and gray hair, he's not going to matter. He'll look dignified or whatever. Yep.
Stamos is in a whole different genus and subspecies.
Right.
Than Wiggy. Come on.
Yeah. Well, yeah,
you
but
can't
I'm saying,
even compare the two.
No, you can't. But I mean, Wiggy in his, like when you look at his kids, but like if anybody fucking pissed in a gene pool, it was in the Stern pool, because Ellen, Ben, Ray, they all, like, Ben looks sort of okay, but none of them are lookers. And then you feel so bad. We don't shit on Howard's kids, but when that fucking Stern DNA kicked in, it hit them so fucking hard. It was just so unfortunate. And you never, was it like an old, I don't know, it's like an old roast joke is that, Dad, you know why I'm ugly, Mom? You know why I'm ugly? Because you and Pop are ugly. And I feel bad for it because you don't have any say in what you end up looking like. So, but at the same time, I mean, what a fucking cruel joke nature played on Howard, and he's just not helping it. So, this one, when I saw it, I'm like, maybe she misspelled it. And then I go, no way, they're talking about it. But it's Intuit, aka Inuit, as in native
Alaskan.
Yeah. And also, yeah. So let's see. It's only a short 26-second clip.
In the Arctic consider Eskimo derogatory because it was used by racist non-native colonizers. Most people in Canada and Greenland prefer terms like Intuit. I'm into it.
Yes, I'm into it too.
Into it. You're into it, right? Which means people. Into it means the singular is Inuk, which means person. So Inuk or into it.
Into it.
Yeah.
They both got it wrong.
Jesus Christ.
It's just Inuit. Jesus Christ.
How hard is it to look at that and see Inuit, or it looks like actually French. It looks like Inni if you look at it, but you don't get into it. He's adding syllables.
Yeah. Dropping articles and adding syllables.
Alfredo.
Got it.
Okay. The next one is called Trans Secrets by a 79, and this clip was provided by Mark Shabjevich. So thank you, Mark. It's a little long, but it's about 90 seconds comparatively. But let's see.
And I'm like, oh, okay. Like, you have to literally start out so you don't offend people. By the way, I don't know who this girl was. She's a transgender advocate. She was fucking hot.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah. Oh.
Listen to the tone of his voice. He sounds like he's about to rub one out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's creepy.
He's straight. Okay.
Like, this is crazy. Like, she's super hot. I figured this whole transgender thing out. The best time to come out as transgender, if your family will be decent about it, is like when you're 7 or, real young. So you get right on those hormones before puberty. If you can get on, like Jazz got on hormones when she was like 7 or something. I don't know. I was really young. But she's got the voice. She's got a girl's voice.
Who the fuck obsesses about this? Who's a straight person? I'm sorry. Who does? or even trans for that matter. You live your life, but do you really fucking obsess on this unless you're researching a book or you're, recounting stories from other people who have tried to become, tried to come out as trans or try to become the other gender that they believe they are.
This is one of the true emotions that he can have is jealousy.
Yeah.
So it comes out and, regrets. He has a few that he didn't get on this train a long time ago, but it wasn't relevant a long time ago when it would have been an option for him.
Yeah.
And also, I sent you a pic of the girl he's talking about.
Yes.
I'm not sure if we should include it only because I don't want to put down this person's looks, but I'll just say she was like a Pittsburgh 5.
Okay. This is
there
the person. Let me see if I got this. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't want to come down hard on women or men or people that aren't in the show related with looks, but like for him to fawn over her and to get all worked up, it's not something that I was picturing when he was talking about it. The Hunter Schafer is more valid in this case.
More believable.
He is a looker, and has a very stylish model look to them. This girl just looks like your average kind of girl. I didn't see anything super special about her. It's just, for some reason, he was transfixed on her.
And you're certain that's the person he was talking about?
According to our thread, yeah. That's why I'm not sure if we should use it or not. But I'm just telling everybody, I was not impressed with what he said versus what we believe to be the person he was talking about.
Yeah. I mean, our mandate is to fuck with him, not civilians, essentially.
Right.
So I probably will leave that picture out. But I just looked at the picture and it just looks like, I don't know. I'm just saying that this person, it looks like they wouldn't have a problem lifting a refrigerator on their own. But either way, I just know. Okay, fine. We'll let him wax poetic about this. This 10.
She's got the whole traditional girl thing. The only downside to getting on the hormones early, you'll grow titties, everything. The downside is your peen gets super small. It becomes microphallus. And then when they go to give you your vagina, they don't have enough penis to work with to give you your vagina. That's the only downside. But man, you look like a born woman.
Well, yeah, born woman who could also double as a fucking linebacker for the Dolphins. I don't know that. I'm sorry. I'll take the hit, guys. You fucking go after me. That's fine. According to some, I'm a huge misogynist. Okay, I guess I am. I'm just a dinosaur too. But it's not. It's a little. Again, it's always just too intricate with this stuff, and it's not. It doesn't ever sound like a bit. It just sounds like this is what he wants on his show. This is what he's interested in. So. Okay.
Far too many details for my taste.
Yeah.
And I don't get the point of it. Oh, where are we going with this? Is she coming on the show?
Right.
Or have you talked to her? Anything?
Right.
Does she have a show?
What's the end game?
Person, like an influencer? I don't know.
Right. Or if you're trying to get someone, like if you're trying to get some of these people as guests, okay, I get it. If you're trying to do the whole Mick Jagger thing, like, come on the show, you'll be welcomed here. We're trans friendly and this and that, which is exactly what he might be trying to do. But you certainly doesn't sound like it exactly. You know what I mean? It just sounds like someone wondering out loud.
Or pushing a trans platform.
Yeah.
And a gay platform at the same time.
Right.
Now, if you hit puberty, you get the deep voice. You get,
there's things that need to be erased. You get the Adam's apple. You get all that, right?
That's right. So if your kid comes out, don't bust his balls. Get him right on those hormones so he can be real girl.
Well, I do hear people saying, wait.
Jesus Christ. It's just such a mandate now. I just don't understand it. But number 12, Brent Who. And if I'm not mistaken, is this the Rapaport?
Yeah, I didn't clip anything else from the Rapaport stuff because that was just total BS. And I'm not giving him any airplay. Yeah. But yeah, this was the Brent mention.
Okay.
Mike, wait a second. And you used to trash Brent's wife all the time on the air. You are a guy who does trash people's wives.
What you want or what you guys are fishing for you just mentioned Brent for the first time since he left the show.
Yeah.
Which is funny that you're mentioning it now. But
well, what am I supposed to do
about it?
What's funny about it? I'm just saying, Michael, you can't say that.
Okay, that was a little truncated, but you got the gist. Now, this is what I have to ask you. What was that like a slip from Rapaport, or was that because I don't know, because Rapaport is often tapped to do stuff for the show, obviously, because he's so present in certain shows. But was that something where he was pissed off and decided to throw that in there? Like, was he trolling Wig?
It came up that Rapaport didn't want people talking about his wife.
Okay.
And it became a whole thing of him talking bad about Bowie's wife, Mary.
Yeah.
And so they mentioned that he used to trash Brent's wife.
Right.
Caitlin.
Yeah.
So he threw it back in their face to derail from the wife talk, because apparently his wife is untouchable.
Yeah.
But that was part of what came up between the whole Barstool thing and Rapaport, allegedly.
Right.
I just got to throw that in there because I don't want to deal with Rapaport's idiot lawyers, allegedly.
Right. Well, yeah. Now the screen caps you sent me, there's one I can't because it's a Getty image, and there's a T-shirt that looks like some kind of, it's mocking him as a clown with a red nose. That one I think I can put up there. It was a T-shirt that Barstool was making with his likeness.
Barstool started making fun of. Rapaport started making fun of Barstool fans, saying, if you call yourself Stoolies, then you have a problem.
Right.
And so Barstool got offended by that. And then he also owed money, like $2,000 in some fantasy football thing that he was not paying or wasn't paid. So it became a whole war with him and Barstool. And then lawyers were involved, T-shirts were made. And at the same time, Rapaport was in a fight with Kevin Durant, KD, for basketball. So there was multiple levels to this. It just wasn't worth discussing because Rapaport's a bitch.
Yeah.
And everybody called him out, and he lost the legal fight, even though they're appealing it, and it's still going to go on.
Yeah.
So we'll hear about that in a few more months. KD got fined for $50,000 because Rapaport exposed his DMs.
Okay.
And it was unbecoming of an NBA player, what he was saying to Rapaport, but it's the same stuff Rapaport says to everybody about being a pussy and, getting fucked in the ass or whatever. So this whole mess came up, and it got talking about wives.
Yeah.
And how like Rapaport allegedly might have restraining orders in the past with a girlfriend, and how his wife doesn't respect him. And then boom.
Yeah.
The next thing you know, Brent's name's being thrown in there because they're like, well, you bashed other people's wives like Bowie and Brent. And so he derailed it to the Brent thing. And then you're going to hear the clips of how Wiggy defends using that and why it's not, why people that leave the show aren't spoken of anymore.
Right. And the one throwaway line was they're not here because they're not here to defend themselves. When has he ever cared about people defending themselves ever?
Right.
Right. So the next clip is called I Know a Guy, in brackets. Yes, we know, Wiggy.
I believe you. I believe you, by the way.
Yes.
Because I know a guy who has something similar to that. He gets these it's like a ingrown hair, and he gets these things.
Right. Well, I looked at it and I thought melanoma.
I know a guy. Okay, yes. Okay, Ralph with his fucking berry. Who else do you know?
Okay, so Rapaport was defending what everybody thought was a herpy on his lip that Barstool used in that picture.
Yes.
And it turns out Rapaport was able to defend it with, he went to a doctor and was told he has ulcerative colitis.
Yeah.
And he was on different meds, and the meds inflamed it. And it had nothing to do with herpes, and he's got tests to prove it, but who knows?
Yeah.
So it was just a back and forth, and this was him defending it, and then Wiggy jumps on with, "Oh, I know a guy."
Okay.
Well, we've heard that how many times?
Okay. Well, real quick, we'll go into this because it's a long clip, and I got to change. Let's see what we got here. 14, taking shots at Wigger Mortis.
Yeah, two things. I didn't like that shot you took at Howard a little while ago. Do you remember that, what you said a little while ago?
You liked it or you didn't like it?
He did not like it.
You did not. What?
I didn't like it.
You didn't like the shot. All right. Okay.
What was the shot?
No, Michael Rapaport.
I don't even know. What is the
Rapaport
shot?
said-
I know what the shot was.
What was it?
This whole like
Rapaport-
Okay, now we're going to go continue into it, guys. Just taking a little break.
he likes to do these things
Let
under
him
the
say
radar.
the
Like
shot. Say the shot.
when you accuse Howard of like, oh,
What are
you
you,
haven't
what are you,
brought.
a fucking interpreter, Gorilla? Gorilla, are you an interpreter? What's the shot?
Why don't you talk to Kevin Durant like that, pussy?
What's the
Yo,
shot?
listen.
Yeah, now hold on. If this is where it gets kind of touchy, guys. Is he talking to King of All Blacks, calling him gorilla, or Bowie?
He's talking to Bowie as translator gorilla.
Okay, all right. So there, he's gonna.
Because there-
Because, otherwise, he could get in some serious shit if that was ever thrown in his face. Okay.
No, they're just ganging up on him, and this is the only thing Rapaport has to fight back
Okay.
with. But I believe this is all like WWE wrestling.
Yeah.
I'm not buying any of this for a second.
Hence why we don't give Rappaport any fucking play on this. Same as Whack Pack.
What is the shot was? Oh, that I didn't talk about Brent leaving the show. Is that it?
Your name should be called the only black person that calls into the show.
Hey, Howard.
I don't think that that was a shot. I mean, I'm not.
It was a shot.
I'm not offended by that.
It was.
Well, maybe it was meant
you're
as
not-
one, but I'm not.
Jesus, Bowie sounds like he's been eating cigarettes. It was.
Eating cigarettes, scotch, and oxys is my
Yeah,
guess.
totally. Yeah.
You're not right. You're not offended, but it was meant as a shot.
I see.
Yes. And I tell you why. All
right, King, what is your question for Michael? What is it? Never mind me. What is your question for Michael?
First of all, yeah, because I want to tell.
All right, and the last bit of clip, that we're going to get here
thank you.
is, yeah, I know. If you don't work here, you don't exist.
There's people, and I won't name names. There's people that work on the show that have asked me to possibly mention it or whatever. I don't do that. I would never.
People who
that's
work
just
on
like
the
just
show?
broke. I'm just saying. I know that when people leave the show, we don't talk about them, and I don't talk.
I don't because they're not here to talk. They're not here to
Look,
answer
when
back.
I disappear,
Andy Dick wasn't there to answer back. Fucking Wendy Williams wasn't there to answer back. Artie wasn't there to answer. Like tons of people weren't there to fucking answer back. What the fuck are you talking about?
Ding, ding. Every time you say it, it's like, oh yeah, that one. Oh yeah, that one too. He loves to fight tapes.
Oh shit.
And
he's made a career out of it.
That's all he does.
Yeah.
So this
Pussy.
is just total BS. But you guys need to know what you're not missing.
Yep.
Howard will not mention me.
I won't because you won't be here to. If you're not here, then you don't exist. That's it. That's the end.
I
of it.
agree. I agree.
Howard,
That's the way
agree.
I run my show.
And that makes sense.
If you're here.
It doesn't make sense except in the context of we know what he's about. He's just a fucking coward. Next clip, guys, following taking shots at Wigger Mortis is if you don't. Okay, we finished. If you don't work here, you don't exist. We're going into Robin's killer bouquet, which I didn't quite understand, but when I heard it, I laughed hysterically.
Cats.
Yeah, I didn't know this. She told me yesterday. Easter
That's what I
lilies kill
think
cats.
happened to my cat Brangelina, because what it does is attack their kidneys. And that, she was perfectly healthy. And, people used to, when I got sick, actually, she got sick before I did. But, you get bouquets of flowers and they have different things in there. And she would always be in the flowers, like trying to find something to eat.
Why in the God's name would your cat be looking in flowers for something to eat unless you're not fucking feeding them?
Hello, I'm a cat owner. I have 4 fucking cats. I can't have real plants because they attack them. I can't even have a cactus. Okay. Plants are dangerous. Certain vegetables like avocado is dangerous to cats.
Oh, really?
So you have to be really, really careful. Like they have digestive problems.
Yeah.
That because of so much inbreeding and issues. So Robin is fucking 79 in this clip because her cat, Brangelina, whatever the fuck its name was, had to die. It had kidney problems and it just went on a complete off the cliff down spiral.
Yeah.
After she exposed it to these flowers. But I have to believe she always had flowers in her place because she seems like that type of lady.
Yeah.
But for whatever reason, this particular flower in this one plant and like the whole thing, the reason why this came up was Beef had an announcement, a PSA about Easter lilies because it was Easter time and do not expose your cats to these. And then why in the world would Robin expose herself
as a shitty owner?
A shitty owner who left plants out that her cats ate, and all of a sudden they got sick and died eventually.
Because she didn't give a fuck about it. And and for all we know, if this was around the time before she got sick, then she was not happy. She didn't have any meat in the house. She was probably giving the cats vegan fucking cat food or starving them. And then like, well, I'll feed you when I get there, or somebody else will feed you. I don't know. It's just, she has a horrible history with pets. Remember Blaze? Yeah. He's the glue factory. Yeah, poor fucking horse. And so, I mean, it's not like she's, even she loves them enough to, take care of them, of anybody really, herself for that matter. You think she cares about a cat? Jesus.
The only pass I would give her is if her health was suffering and she was starting to lose her mind and so enthralled in herself,
right?
Not enthralled, but enmeshed in herself and her own health. And she was so worried about herself and stuff that she just forgot. And maybe that's what happened. I'll give her a pass on that.
Yeah. Maybe she had
her health took precedence over the cats, but in the same sense, I think Captain Dennis is feeding the cats. I don't know that she is. I don't even know if she still has cats. She doesn't talk about them anymore.
No, I bet she's petless at this point. And if she had chemo brain, that certainly would be an issue. We're now, believe it or not, guys, in April 6th, and this first clip is called "Podcasts Suck," and but we hope you're enjoying this one.
So much as sour shoes.
Oh, and this is a Mark Shabzovich clip. So thanks, Mark.
And that is absolutely, people have such an absurd notion of how I do the show. Like yesterday, Rapaport goes, "You haven't," evidently was supposed to insult me, according to Gary. I wasn't insulted. He goes, "You haven't spoken about Brent since he left the show." I was like, "Oh, is that supposed to be a knock?" And Gary goes, "Yeah, that's what people write on the internet about you. People leave the show and you don't talk about them." I go,
okay, so yeah, please, I want to hear what you have to say about this.
Hi, Scott Salem. Hi, Bubber. Hi, Artie. Hi, Shuli. Hey, guys. You're not going to get mentioned. Just so you know, you don't exist.
Yeah, certainly not necessarily in a positive way. Although Gilbert did get a mention sometime last October, maybe in the fall, and all of a sudden it was like, oh, is Gilbert, we allowed to mention his name on the show again? That was a little odd. A lot of people thought, in the group at least, thought, well, okay, maybe they're angling to have him back or something, but I thought, no fucking way. Yep.
Well, Gilbert did get a mention, but doesn't he have podcasts on Sirius? I'm pretty sure he does.
He might have it connected to Sirius as well, but it's independent of Sirius in the first place, so it's not exclusively on a Sirius.
Oh, well, yeah. I was just thinking, why not cross promote on your own company? But
no fucking way. Not
going to happen.
No fucking way, Ganji.
Oh, of course they don't talk about them. It's a show business. Nowadays, because there are podcasts and everybody's
that made me laugh too. This is show business. It's a glorified podcast that if you don't have a subscription, you don't get to listen unless you, of course, download it. And I don't know anybody who would do that. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. and I mean, he's not in show business. It's funny that his career arc has turned to one market, New York, then, Philly, then LA. And then slowly, different markets around the country, but not everywhere. Not like fucking Rush Limbaugh or somebody else who had hundreds of markets, literally hundreds. And not that I'm a Rush fan, but I'm saying in terms of radio success, it remains to be seen who's the actual king of all radio. But in terms of money he's made, yeah, absolutely. But either way, I digress. He went from being quite popular in such a massive way to then getting into this niche field of Sirius, like satellite radio, which was so small to begin with, and now because of car manufacturers installing the stuff in their cars, the Sirius XM whatever, the receiver or whatever, it's still not you doing that. It's not, oh, I got to get this car so I can get Howard. I can't wait to get in my car to listen to Sirius XM. It's like it came with the fucking dinner. and he's gone back into the small little turtle shell that was the original market.
He's pretty much left show business ever since Private Parts.
Yeah, I would, but I mean, when he was on terrestrial, he still had a way louder voice, shall we say, in the business. People would still come in. Now, in COVID especially, he's being really found out. And the year before COVID, in 2019, how many fucking Spade interviews did he have? How many Alec Baldwin interviews did he have? Multiple. Right. In the old days, you might get them once a year, because they had so many other guests.
Yeah, they were like twice a year at that point. And then he was like down to his book, and Ellen, he broadcasted from LA, but that doesn't put you in show business because you're doing a podcast from LA. Come on. Well,
yeah. I mean, and it's international. Let's be honest. Show business is no longer, okay, yes, we know Hollywood is the big, the be all and end all. But now, let's be honest, you can, if you have the right breaks, if you're doing the right amount of work, the right kind of podcast, you can be successful just about anywhere in the world as long as you put the work in and you have something to offer.
Oh, hello to our listeners in Britain, Germany, Australia,
Slovenia, Canada.
I mean, thanks, guys. Appreciate it. All over the United States, every time zone we got covered.
Yep. Japan. I know China. I just heard from a fella in China recently, and I'm like, holy shit, really? And but it's entirely possible. It's not that unbelievable anymore. Sorry. So yeah, and wherever you get us and whenever you get us in your time zone, when you're waking up to a nice episode or whatever, God bless you. You listen to us at your leisure. That's the key. That's the benefit of doing it the way we do it. You don't have to catch us live. We're not live. Our live chats are live. We are dead. So let's continue.
Podcasting and on the radio. Everybody now thinks they know how to do radio. They know how to do talk. They know how to do, but you've never gone on a radio station and had to get ratings. It's nonsense what you're doing, sitting in your house with your podcast. No one's listening to it. No one gives a fuck. Podcasts, I listen. I try to listen to some of them. I got the podcast app.
The podcast app. Okay. So you needed, was it Podbean? Was it Spotify? Was it that thing that, paid Rogan more than you're getting for the last however many years? Fuck, I suck on it, Wig.
What a fucking asshole.
And it's a lot of people talking to other people who aren't really that interesting. They're bores. They're fucking bores. But no one tells them they're bores. Let me tell you how I found out if I was a bore or not. I found out the ratings would come out. And if the ratings sucked, it meant I sucked. I meant I was purposeless. There was no reason.
Do something different.
Yeah, I better fucking pull my pants off and fart on MTV.
Why does it always go gay?
You still suck. Okay.
You do. Give me 1 sec. Let me see if I can find the one clip here. I can look for one clip and play it. I know it's going to come up real fast. Am I diluting myself? But he said, you had to get ratings.
Yeah, he said that.
Okay, let's just hear what you have to say about this.
But nobody cares around here. Nobody sits here and gets worried about ratings. It's a joke.
Well, you don't need ratings here.
So I'm gonna go.
So much as sour shoes.
Okay, so I'm gonna cue us all back into what we were just listening to, but I thought I'd break that in just to hear to hear the little rescinding.
How do you think you find out? The world of podcasting reminds me of these people who coddle their children. It's like, oh, honey, everything you do is great. You took a shit. It's great. I'll take a picture and send it to grandma. Everything you do isn't great. That's why podcasts suck. I listen to them. You can't get through. You know what you do? You fast forward. You try. When you got on the radio years ago, you couldn't fast forward. There was no fast forward. They turned you off if you were a bore.
Yeah, and that's what they're doing now to you, sir. So,
right.
Yeah, sucks to your ass, Mar. There's only a few seconds left. Let's let King Baby have a little rant.
That's it. Game over. So not everybody had a show. I mean, nowadays everyone has a show. No one's listening to it, but
Wrong.
Just crazy. I can't tell you the numbers we got in our last few episodes. That's just not through the roof, and I didn't expect it. When next clip, guys, is called "Manipulate the Audience," and I thought it was a very telling clip.
But in the age of the podcast, in the age of the bullshit and the nonsense, and everybody thinks you're so fucking interesting, you think you're supposed to do. You gotta manipulate the audience. You gotta make sure that they're being entertained.
Why would he choose to making sure they're entertained and manipulating? They're two different things. Why would he use that phrase except like subconsciously wanting to out himself as a complete fraud?
Well, by manipulate, do you mean like repeat things over and over? Like, I'm a good guy.
Yeah.
And
Gaslight.
my hair is this.
Right.
I
bang a clock.
Like, yeah, so many. Like, come on.
Yeah. And so that was one little clip there. And the next one is called Mr. Free Speech Against Basement Podcasts.
Sometimes it reminds me of some of those dinner parties you get stuck in.
Right.
Your table mate is the worst. They're droning on in your ear and you can't get away.
Like Wiggy.
Yeah, the lack of self-awareness between these two is it's staggering. It's like a reservoir of 79.
Don't listen to the noise of the internet. If I listen to the morons who sit and comment on my show, they don't know what's in my brain. They don't.
You'd have a far better show, asshole. Like if you just listened, Sirius XM, if you're wondering, yeah, we are available. Just pick us up. We're going to continue recording how we do. You can take us wholesale. We'll take your $45 a show. It's just gravy.
Wiggy, Bob D and Fillmore and I and Sam, we know what's in your brain, and Carrie and Dennis and future guests to be announced. But sorry if we're getting under your skin a little bit.
Yeah, hope we're not we're the little ants in your wig that you can't get rid of.
They haven't had a career for over 40 years. They don't have a clue. They're sitting at home living with their parents in a basement somewhere writing about me. Use your fucking head.
But more and more, all of these generations, the generations.
Oh, don't even start talking about generations. You old fucking deluded cow.
From baby boomers on have been introduced to they're on television to.
Isn't that them?
Yeah, they're the boomers, not us.
Exactly.
We're Gen X.
Okay, now this next one's great. I think Raven clipped this one. Internet killed the radio star.
I love this one.
Couldn't get together and criticize you. Now with the internet, as soon as they invented that internet, it was over. They all get together and decide what's wrong with the show, what's right with the show.
Right.
Why would you listen? You start listening. Any great artist, if you listen to the masses, you will never, ever, ever be successful.
Well, great artists can't because they hear too much in their own heads.
Exposed.
Yeah,
the internet.
Totally. Next clip is called 79 IQ mistakes rabid, RABID, as in Donald, for rabbits, as in, what's up, Doc? Can you please explain the context of this one? Because it's a short clip.
Yep. Richard moved to New Jersey in the suburbs, and he's got 2 kids and a wife, and they're feeding animals out in their backyard.
Mm-hmm.
So they've got deer, they've got raccoons, they've got squirrels, things like that. But the problem was they were feeding something like deer and there was too much poop. Yeah. So Richard had to get like a poop vacuum to suck it up. But he was talking about all this, and Robin, I think, was the one who quoted him and said to worry about being animals that are rabid, as in sick and frothing.
Yeah.
And Wiggy just took it as rabbits, and he went off on rabbits after this whole conversation about animals pooping and feeding them, and his kids love it, and too much poop. And it was again the shit theme. And
oh God,
then it was just like a hard of hearing 67-year-old that just didn't understand the conversation and had to just put in his own 2 cents.
Okay, his own and yeah, it's right up his alley. I mean, up his colon. Let's see.
I have no problem with him.
All right, well, that's fascinating. Richard
He
living
doesn't
somewhere
feed rabbit right now, but he could wander off and get around the wrong raccoon.
Well, if he starts
by the way,
slobbering, I'm not feeding him anymore.
I'm glad you said rabbits, because one of the things my wife was teaching me over Easter is that the number one horror of this Easter.
That's fantastic.
Oh my God.
Okay, the next
What an
clip is
idiot.
called, yeah, totally, 79. Okay, guys, we're gonna have to scale it down. It maybe 69, but we're gonna go to negative numbers before the end of this show.
How
Number
does he
6.
function?
I don't know. Regifting Rob Zombie's LP.
No, I was saying Rob Zombie sent me the vinyl disc of his new album, but I don't have a record player. Do you want it?
Sure. I would take it.
I don't have a record player. Get one. You got more money than fucking God, and you just can't. Now, I'm going to tell you the truth, guys. I don't give a fuck about vinyl. I never did. It was always a big pain in the ass. Anybody who claims it sounds better wants to go down that fucking rabbit hole. You didn't grow up with shitty needles and shitty speakers and shitty turntables like we did, and jump around and skip your fucking records, scratch them, and like, you know, there's a difference now. I love the size. I love the artwork of LPs, absolutely, and they're art now, like they really are, and I've gotten them for friends. And in the way of like one of my favorite bands, Slowdive, they released a new album a few years ago. They reunited and it was fantastic. And I was like, I went to the website, I bought a vinyl copy for a friend because I know he collects vinyl. I got a CD for myself and a t-shirt and this kind of package, whatever. I'm happy to do that. I have no problems, but I don't want to see an LP again in my life. Go ahead.
I have records too that were given to me years ago, and I got into a phase of collecting them back in like the 2000s. And I even have a record player in my house, but we haven't used it in years.
Yeah.
It's just something we kind of put in the back room, and
maybe
someday I'll get to it with my kids. But here's the thing. He was regifting Rob Zombie's album, which was coming out, and he was supposed to promo it. And it basically was trash to him. So he gave it to Bowie.
Yeah.
It was something he could give two shits about because he heard it online.
Yeah.
And that's why I clipped this.
Okay.
So,
well, I mean, and Bowie's like, okay, I'll take your hand-me-downs, whatever. Not like, and I don't know who cares about a Rob Zombie LP in 2021, but nothing against Rob personally. I don't know. I said, it's kind of over, isn't it?
Rob's such a great friend, and they have that interest in art together.
Yeah.
But Rob didn't make it on the show. That's funny.
Yeah.
Not even a call in for like 10, 15 minutes to promote it. Too bad, Rob.
And
sorry,
by the way,
Rob.
When's the last time you or anybody clipped a painting clip where he's talking about watercolors and shit? Is he given up on that now? Is he on fountain pens?
He's on fountain pens and journals.
Okay, there we go. There you go, guys. Another fucking dilettante at whatever he tries. Number 7, laundry tutor needed.
What they were doing. But they loved it, and they loved laughing at me and taking over. Like at night, I'd go into the pish, and the next thing I know, I'm like covered in ants. And then Beth even said, what I do is, Beth does our laundry. So like I used to have a hamper and stuff. I just take my laundry at night and I put it on the floor so that I remember in the morning to bring it into the washing machine. I put it in the washing machine. Why should she have to do that? So
it's no longer the laundry machine. He's figured that out. But I will say, someone I think was recently in our group, possibly, or in the YouTube comments, asked about the term pish, which basically is just a Yiddish like affectation where they would actually say I like pish, because the sound sh, the sh is often used in a lot of Yiddish vocabulary, a lot of words like and you really have to master the sh, and it just became a thing to say, and that's probably like a Ben Stern thing or whatever. Like you just it's something he's decided he thought sounded cool, so every now and then you'll hear him say it. Yep,
it's like schmuck, tchotchke,
yeah,
and he's so bad with s's and his dentures, so it just adds to it. But he could not put his he just threw his clothes on the floor, and he's like, look at me, I'm so proud of myself that I take them down to the washer, which I'm not sure I believe. And then when beef is done doing like 25 litter boxes, she's got to do their wash on top of it.
Yeah,
I'm not buying any of that. I think they have a house manager who does all the wash and maybe some of the litter too.
Yeah, I bet.
Who's
She
vaccinated?
was all upset because I guess when my clothes were on the floor, not even in the bathroom, like outside of the bathroom, I put them in the laundry room. There were ants all over the place because they were all over my clothes. And I was like, I'm getting I'm getting skeeved out.
Yeah.
Okay, so what would ants be doing on his pants? This is the thing that's a little confounding to me. Ants will go on whatever surface, but specifically if there's dirt, especially if there's sugar, like food remnants, sweets, spills, what would they be? You think he's just wearing the same clothes for days, and whatever food is on him is or it's just dirt and grime and shit and Ralph's jizz. Go ahead.
I'm just guessing that the ant infestation was bigger than the bathroom.
Yeah.
And he's just throwing his clothes just outside the bathroom. So maybe he was leading the ants on a march to the clothes, which Lord knows. I mean, he's probably got crumbs. I'm sure he's a sloppy eater.
Oh, yeah.
And he's got shit all over his stuff. So they probably smelled food on his clothes.
Right. He needs a bib. Number 8, sugar killing gargoyle.
I Zoomed with a nutritionist because, my doctor told me my health isn't what it should be, that I'm not eating the right things, that I eat too much sugars. I go, I don't eat any sugar. I don't even have any fun.
You don't even know what sugar is. Every carbohydrate is a sugar.
Yeah. They started explaining that to me. I go, well, I said, I eat a baked potato with nothing on it. They go, that's all sugar.
Plenty.
Duh.
What a fucking idiot. Who doesn't know this after a certain point in their life? And I'm talking like by the time you're 40 or whatever, you should have an idea of what carbs are. You should know what's sugar, what causes you to gain sugar, like what causes fat to build up in your body, certain foods.
Okay, so riddle me this, Mr. 79. If you have all this time to YouTube journals and fountain pens, why are you not YouTubing nutrition and carbs and what's right for your blood type, or possibly why your handful of granola is killing you and your baked potatoes? So
yeah,
I just don't get it. Like, this guy cares so much about his health, but he does nothing to help himself. It's all dependent upon the people around him, his employees, the people he hires, the nutritionist.
Right.
It's such bullshit. He's such a lazy fuck. And that's what gets me.
Well, if you have something wrong with you, you get it checked out. Like most people do. I mean, some people are afraid of doctors, hospitals, whatever, or they think, it's nothing. I had this before, but they don't check it out. I get that. But you have to know, like, you see other people, you read about them eating a certain way, looking a certain way. It's nothing anymore to just go online, say, and even if it's a forum you're looking at, or Live Strong or whatever the fuck, WebMD, and you can look at symptoms and try to cross-examine, like not cross-examine, like research between websites to determine what exactly you don't have, let's say, and eliminate things that it couldn't be. Anybody could do this. You have to be able to know, like, I don't have any grains, I don't have any dairy, I don't have any fucking meat. What am I doing to replace all that if I'm not having what do you call it? Not what's the opposite of a vegan? What's the one? Paleo diet. So, yeah. So he's an idiot, and he has doctors. Why wouldn't he ask them, what should I be eating? It's because he thinks he knows it all. It's all that narcissism. I'm fine. I don't have any problems. Just because you don't have any visible problems doesn't mean your kidneys aren't fucking up, or your liver isn't having an issue, or you're fucking anemic, like you have iron deficiency anemia or something. He's an idiot. That's just the end of the day.
And he is a king baby veal.
Yeah.
So he's too helpless to do anything for himself, and he requires all these paid professionals to do everything else for him. And he basically just wants like everything fed to him.
Yeah.
And like a veal. And he's, the whole Tupperware thing with stuff in the kitchen and taking over the fridge with beef, we'll get into, but like,
sure.
Come on. Like, if you're really that concerned about your health, wouldn't you search it up and Google something?
You'd think.
I mean, WebMD is great just for basic facts or symptoms, but this guy, no. He's still stuck on fountain pens and
trans
adventure Denali.
Yeah.
And I go, I go, are you kidding me? You mean all the deprivation I go through, all the nonsense I eat is not even good for me?
Potatoes.
Yeah, I'm killing myself, evidently.
You know what it was? It's probably some asshole at a gym that he thinks, okay, this guy looks all right. And he goes, I just have a baked potato and I'm fine. But the problem is that he probably heard it from someone who was actually fit, younger, strong, like doing other things. Like, I have a baked potato for lunch or breakfast, but later in the day, I'll have like a grilled, bit of beef and I'll have a salad, whatever. Like, he didn't, he went with one little bit and decided, like a moron, that's all I'm going to eat. He'd be like Elvis, who he ate the same meals 3 times a day for years. Like, he'd have like he'd have 3 different meals for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, but eat the exact same 3 meals for something like years near the end of his life. And any doctor would tell you you're nuts. You have to diversify what you're eating. So let's continue. Protein and fat tutor needed.
Yes.
What's going on with this illness of yours last week?
Yeah, I got tested out and they said I need to up my game nutritionally, that I'm not getting enough. Listen to this. I'm not getting enough protein and I'm not getting enough fats.
Duh.
So I was like, and then they started explaining good fat, bad fat. And I'm like, everything.
Good, fat, bad.
Yeah, well, Robin's bad fat. Go ahead.
This is a guy who thought peanut butter on his bagel was enough protein to survive on. Seriously.
Yeah.
And he cut down his fish so much. Like, fish is a good protein. Have some more fish, God damn it.
Yeah, or certain specific fish, not like, it can't just be salmon or whatever. I mean, there's certain fish that are they direct you to, like, eat this. You can't have the sea urchin. You got to have something else. You got to have whatever, cod. It's nuts. Sorry, the years ago, though, this is the thing that amazes me. He's dropped lots of hints about Beef's bad habits. Like, he's saying, like, she doesn't eat so well, and that she doesn't shit. Well, if you're just eating sugar, I don't know what you would shit. I don't know if she's just drinking like smoothies and not have. I mean, obviously she must have fucking bowel movements, but if she's not eating or if she's just eating sweets, that would explain a lot.
I agree. It's like she's got to hide all that stuff from him. And
yeah,
the Lucky Charms thing was a big breakthrough.
Yeah, I totally.
So she had him believing certain things, and then it came out possibly, around that he was going to, his diet was bad. So he had to start ragging on her diet.
Totally.
Like, I think he had these results long before he spoke about it. And he was still trying to figure it out because he knows he's a 79 and he's got to think it through on his own or talk to professionals until he can actually really speak about it, which is like weeks later.
Oh, totally.
And now Beth is on like a sugar-free diet. God help her, because when you take sugar out of your system, your body just, it reacts different for everybody, but you could go to headaches. You could go to all kinds of health issues.
Oh, yeah.
So he's putting her on a downward spiral, which we're kind of seeing on Instagram, but that's kind of like her baseline for Instagram is just nutty pictures and weird body dysmorphia. So nuts. I don't know.
Yeah. Number 10, wig wears out the dietitian.
I couldn't take it. I'm like, you know what? I eat the same thing almost every meal. I explained this to the nutritionist and she goes, no, you're eating the same thing and you're trying to be healthy, but you don't know what to eat. I said, listen to me. I'm like a person in the military. You just tell me what to eat. Write it down every meal and I'll eat it. She goes,
like a meal.
She's smart. She goes, listen, I don't work that way, genius. I'm going to tell you how to eat and you'll figure out the meals.
Now, when I was younger, I was regimented as well. When I got to a certain point in my life and I decided I'm going to work out like a fiend, and I was pretty steadfast with what I ate, but I made sure that every single food group was represented well. And so that, I didn't have to have salad with every meal, but I definitely had greens, jammed greens in my gullet, anything with, like fruits, fruit, veg, grains, everything, every single food group. And I didn't deprive myself of anything because I was working out like a fiend. You needed that. You needed especially protein. And I guess the only protein he's getting is Ralph's fucking protein shakes, as he used to say. Go ahead. Sorry about that visual.
any decent person kind of like is either taught by their parents or learns on their own that you need fruits, you need vegetables, you need protein, you need some carbs, you need oil, fat, sugar.
Yeah.
It's just how you balance it out, and you learn what agrees with your body. By this age, like I'm in my late 40s, so I know what works for me and what doesn't.
Yeah.
And I've had digestive issues after COVID, which is suspect, but we won't get into that.
Mhm.
So I learned what doesn't work for me, and I've stopped.
Yeah.
I have that discipline.
Yeah.
He is disciplined, but he needs someone to tell him how to be disciplined.
Completely. Yeah. And it has to be a person that whose opinion he respects. So a doctor, it has to be a doctor. It can't be his trainer. It can't be, you know, his mother or father who, you know, have lived as long, you know, eating normal food. His body fat must be at like 3 or 4% the way he is.
I would agree.
Yeah. And his body's like, you've seen those jogging photos of him. That's his body like leaching off like nutrients like that don't exist. Like they're taking from the muscle, whatever muscle was, you know, being deprived. Now they're taking like whatever they need sustenance from the muscle. And what you're seeing is the result. It's like a fucking mummy just taken out of the fucking tombs. It's really disgusting. Now this clip, number 11, Chia. Is this should I just play it or do you need to explain it?
The nutritionist insisted that he add seeds to his diet and chia seeds.
I see.
So I called it chia.
Oh, I thought it was a reference to Chia Pet and his hair. Okay.
I said, listen, in the morning, I got to get down to the radio show. I just want something easy. I don't care that it's so. She got rid of my granola because that has sugar in it.
Of course, it's all sugar.
Robin, I measured it. I had 2 tablespoons.
That was 2 tablespoons of sugar.
Yep. So that's gone.
What an idiot. Granola doesn't necessarily have to have sugar. Am I not correct?
I'm guessing it's got some because it's a carb. So you can't really get away from that. But listen to Robin, like laughing at him about his diet. And his problems.
Go ahead.
No, that's all I wanted to say was just like, oh, the schadenfreude of her laughing at him.
Yeah.
And her diet isn't helping her much.
God, no. But at least she's owning it. I mean, like the fact is she's fat and she's, you know, eating whatever the fuck she wants. And then maybe, you know, being chemoed up, she has to, of course, she has to be, you know, eating a sort of balanced diet. But now the imbalance is on her scale, but what are you going to do?
Okay, so I have a question for you. If you have to go out to dinner with Robin or Wiggy, who are you picking?
Robin, although I don't know that I get it. If I went to the bathroom, I don't know that anything would still be on my plate. But with him, actually, you know what? I take that back. I'd go to dinner with him. Even if it was Nobu, I'd find something. I'd order a pizza and tell them to bring it to the fucking restaurant and eat it in front of him, just to piss him off, because he clearly wants to eat like a pig.
But he'll never do it.
No, but I mean, like you can torture him by that's why I loved Artie on the show, eating pancakes, doing this really unhealthy shit right on the air. And that he'd go, wow, what's that? Oh, that's pizza gain. Oh, I loved it because you knew it was killing him. But he could have that. That's the whole point. You don't have to deprive yourself of anything as long as it's in moderation until you get to a certain point. If you're John Hine and you're adjusting your fucking insulin for the amount of supersized fries you're eating, you're not doing something right, buddy. It's not like that.
Well, obviously, we all want to go to dinner with Artie.
Yeah.
But if we can't go with him and we have to pick Robin or Wiggy, I'm picking Robin because she's going to drink some wine. She's going to sit there and she's going to eat whatever. And I'm going to enjoy myself too. But I don't want a microscope put on me by Wiggy while I'm eating. And then a lecture on how bad this or that is for me.
Yeah, but I would just throw it back at him. Like my personality would be more to like, look.
Well, that's you.
Yeah, exactly. With Robin, it would be, you know, you just see stuff brought, like the whole menu brought out to one dish at a time until she was, you know, the restaurant was empty. Let's continue with Chia.
So now I have blueberries in there, you know, fruit with the fat yogurt, and my Metamucil, of course. Thank you. But now I take a handful of cashews and put those in my yogurt, and I got something in there, 2 tablespoons of chia seeds. You ever hear of this? Chia seeds. I never heard of this.
Yes.
For fuck's sake.
Barf.
Okay, number 12. Pelican eats chicken, aka bird on bird crime.
For lunch, I now have Tupperwares full of salad and veggies, and I had some salmon, but they're talking about I might have to start eating a chicken every once in a while. I don't like eating birds.
Well, this is what I was going to say. I said, now that you have had this epiphany and you don't want to eat meat, you don't want to eat animal products, this is part of your problem.
Well, no, she got it figured out. Eggs are good. I can have tofu.
That's animal product.
Oh, God. Christ almighty.
Oh.
You just get dumber and dumber listening to the show. And if you did eat like him, like let's say the Western world really did, tune into his every word and followed him and it ate it like him, that most of the East Coast would be dead from just malnutrition.
Yeah, I mean, people would be falling over, fainting because they wouldn't have energy to deal with their day.
Right.
No wonder he has to take like 20 hours of sleep a day and naps and all the other bullshit that he does and meditation.
Right. Okay, let's finish this
Oh,
one.
well, that I eat. I don't. I'm not a vegan. Fuck that. I have fish, and I mean, I can't do that. I don't know what these people are talking about.
I don't even know that he had salad regularly. Number 13, tofu Alfredo titties.
Nice.
Oh, I'm having vegetables and stuff, and then I have some for protein. I'm having tofu.
The way he talks about it, it suggests that he wasn't even eating greens regularly.
I don't believe he was, and I think that was part of the problem too. He wasn't getting vitamins and nutrients from basic veggies and fruits. Like he claims blueberries, but what else? And
frozen strawberries, yeah, supposedly, but you haven't heard about them in a long time.
Just have a salad with some chicken on it, for God's sake, and a decent dressing.
Yeah, something like, and not even like oil and water, oil and vinegar, or oil
vinaigrette.
And lemon, something like vinegar. Yeah, vinaigrette. Jesus, nice callback.
Tofu. I'm having tofu. That's evidently good.
Tofu.
That is not good for everyone. You're giving this information out. Tofu, especially for women, can be a problem.
I'm no woman. I don't even want to become a woman.
You might, it's full of estrogen. I
is
just want
it?
to tell you.
And you want to know what? I got titties now. I'm not kidding. I'm like a B cup. I got
there you
titties.
go.
But I don't know if it was psychological.
Okay, well, you could have like a kidney bean salad that my mom used to make. Just get some kidney beans, wash them, rinse them off, throw some salt, pepper, and lime or lemon, actually, the way she would do it, or vinegar even, and a bit of oil, like olive oil, and then cut up some onion, chop them into little, like really small bits, mix them with the kidney beans. It's really amazing. And I'm not a kidney bean fan, but it was just sort of a staple growing up. There's your protein. Kidney beans will give you your protein. There's lots of ways around it. If you don't want to eat meat, you just got to be smart. What did you ever hear that about though? The tofu is bad for women?
No, I didn't hear that, but I'm not a fan of tofu. I've never been able to bring myself to eat it. So
yeah, it's shit.
I can't really comment on it. I'll just take her word for it because she's the nurse.
She's the nurse. Yeah.
So,
yeah. I'm not, it tastes like, no, it tastes like whatever you want it to taste like, but the texture is what bothers me. I can't, it just feels like it grody.
Mush.
Yeah. Number 14, King Baby blood sugar spike.
It was helpful.
So was your blood sugar high? Is that what was going on?
There was a lot going on. Yeah. Everything's got to be straightened out. I'm straightening everything out. I'm on it. I don't have any fun anymore.
In every way, huh?
She even said to me, "Do you drink?"
So what he's saying here is he's pre-diabetic, and he's going to say that he is.
Yep.
But he wasn't taking care of business. I mean, it's not, and there's no shame in it, guys. Some people are born diabetic. Some people, just mismanage their diet and whatever. I have to watch out for it, sort of, but not. I never got diagnosed with anything. But I keep an eye on it myself, and I check it out once in a while because my wife has to. And I do the glucometer thing, and I'm actually amazed sometimes at the readings I get. But he definitely was not doing things right for a long time, it sounds like. Yep.
So it sounds to me like not only does he have like blood pressure issues with like doing the Peloton, which by the way kills babies.
Yep.
And allegedly.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's got diabetic issues on top of it. So his narcissism is really like reeling in on his health right now. And he's trying to him with, I've got this going on. I've got this going on. I need this done. And it's either falling on Beef or the house manager who's got to prepare all his Tupperware in the fridge. Like, so much that he's got like 60 containers, and Beef can't even find room for her almond milk, which apparently if she's off the Lucky Charms, she doesn't need anymore.
Yeah.
And her diet ginger ale or something that she's not drinking anymore. So I don't even think she needs a fridge.
No.
I don't know what she's eating. He hasn't said what she's eating.
Jelly beans, most likely. Or nothing. I mean, Adderall. The next clip is called Protein Bread is My Ice Cream.
Protein bread's now like my ice cream. Okay.
For Christ's sake. Okay.
Ew.
I'd love a protein bread sundae right about now. Number 16, 79 needs a seasons tutor.
Yep.
Alan, who is calling from Alaska. Look at this guy. What's the temp in Alaska? I'm always assuming it's cold, but there must be a summer.
Hey now, we're actually in the
I said,
southeast panhandle
Alan,
near
what is the temperature in Alaska? Do you hear me?
Hey now.
I do hear you. It is about 45.
Okay, that's not horrible.
But is that summer? That's the
All right. So this clip was April 6th.
Yep.
That we took this from. And he's asking a guy, allegedly, in Alaska, if it's spring or summer. Like, come on, motherfucker. It's fucking Alaska. All right. Summer has 24 hours of sunlight in its peak.
Yeah.
And you're in April. So obviously, Geography 101 Rocks for Jocks never worked for him in 13th grade.
Right.
And it's still not working to this day at age 67. So it just angered me so much that he would think Alaska might be summer or spring. And he didn't know what season it was. Like, yeah, they might be a little bit colder than us, but they're not like freezing, and it's not hot. It never really gets super hot.
No. It
gets down to like what, 40, 50? Maybe I'm wrong. People, if I'm wrong, prove me. But
I don't know. I need a Fahrenheit tutor.
The question.
Is that summer? Is that summer?
No, it's spring.
Spring. All right.
Such a fucking idiot. The next clip is, you're a big fat pain in my arse. Love, Beefus.
Honey, you still like me? You know, you spent a year with me in a house. Not many people could tolerate it. She goes, honestly, you're a lot. She told me I was a lot.
Oh, really?
The other day, I guess I'd been complaining. I was down about the food I have to eat, about my health, my this, my that. You know, I walk around the house moping, and then she said to me, she looked at me, she goes, you're a lot.
That's fantastic.
Love it.
The employee of the year goes to Beefus. Employee of the month, rather. Well,
you're stuck with them. Sorry.
Yeah, you are. Number 18, activate NPD thrusters.
Is that a defense?
I don't know. I just felt bad that I'm a lot to handle. And I know she's right. I am a lot to handle. I'm very
negative.
negative.
This about yourself a long time, haven't you?
I thought you were all lying. I didn't know. I really did. I didn't know I was a lot to handle. I thought I was fun, but I'm really not.
Yeah. No,
I know. He did. Everybody liked.
So this is my question: does he really know he's a fucking pain in the ass?
Yes, and he doesn't care.
Yeah. Okay. So that's both are correct. He does know, and he knows he's an asshole. He knows nobody likes him, but he doesn't really give a flying fuck.
He's king baby.
Yep. We're going to go into April 7th. I don't know how far we'll get, but we'll try our best. Number 1, pre-taping is bad.
Wolfman Jack, who never showed up. He just had pre-recordings.
Yeah, I mean, but I find that insulting to the audience. You can figure it out. I'm going to get a copy of his radio show and listen to it and figure out how much of that shit's pre-taped, because a lot of it is just kind of like filler.
So it could be 12 hours because he's not really there.
Yeah, and then they repeat it like 3 hours later. Remember, Imus used to do that. He'd make a bit and he would be so proud of himself. He would
this is Wiggerus flying way too close to the sun.
What a fucking bitch.
Yeah.
We know he's pre-recording. We know it. We can hear it in the sound audio.
Yeah, and I think you'll just hear more of it, guys, because he bitches about it. Like, and this is also a way to fucking knock Wolfman Jack, the same way he'd knock fucking Soupy and Imus. And this is actually similar to that. It's getting close to that rant he did about Imus in the 90s about his future and how it mirrored Wiggy so badly. Like, so he nailed himself so completely with that rant. Might have to throw that into an intro. Pre-taping is bad. The sequel.
Saying even with pre-taping and everything else, it's still a lot of work. I mean, you still got to somehow pre-tape everything. And then he has conversations with celebrities, but it's all pre-taped and chopped down.
Yeah, that's easy to do. He could do that anytime during the day and just put it in the show.
I guess, yeah. And I think it's funny, like he was so overworked that his eyeball popped out.
Okay, yeah. Well, we do pre-tape. We record everything. I edit it. I put it together. Sometimes I have to use different clips to make from different sections of the podcast and move them around to make the whole thing work. And it is work, but it's just grunt work. It's not lifting fucking orange crates. But if you care about your product, if you want it to sound good, you'll be willing to do that. He's not. He doesn't give a fuck. Pre-taping for him is just to save himself that much more effort.
Right. It's saving him days of work.
Yes.
So if he doubles up on one day, then he's got a day off the next day.
Right.
Or he's only working 2 days, not 3 out of a week.
Right.
How much lazier can you get?
That's right. So here's my question to you. If a section, let's say an interview, right? If that's pre-taped on a given show, does that mean that the stuff before is also pre-taped, or he's only doing 2 hours live and then the interviews, then he's off and we don't know it because there's no callers, no nothing. Go ahead.
That seems to be the situation because think about it. He never could get guests unless they would come in the morning. Now he's getting guests, not a lot. And I've got the stats to prove it, but he's getting more guests and it seems to be easier to get them if you can record in the evening. Yeah. Because a lot of them are in California. So you got a 3-hour time delay or a 3-hour difference.
Mm-hmm.
So if he wants to record it, like say 6 at night, it's 3 hours behind. So it's 3 p.m. their time.
Mm-hmm.
He would get more guests that way. And I'm thinking someone got into his ear and was like, hey, if you can record in the afternoon, you'll get more people.
Clearly. I mean, Christ's sake, you have to work around people's schedules. And in the K-Rock days, it was always like the guests would be closer to the end of the weekend because they're promoting. That's when they start their junkets for a movie or whatever, and they'd be in city. So go to bring them up to the studio. That works perfectly. And like the one time he did it where it was obviously he talked about it. They recorded the Madonna interview at night to accommodate her, which he would never have done back in the day. He was such a king baby then, but here he was so desperate. He's like, you can get her, but you got to record her at fucking 6 p.m. That must have just made him furious, even though he went through with it.
Right. So he's probably gone through a whole meltdown already of having to do things differently now because he's so regimented in his routine every day. And now he's got to record in the afternoons and evenings, possibly, who knows when.
Yep.
Or on the weekend or on a Friday, or I just don't know. We don't have that access to that information, but we can tell when the interviews are pre-recorded because there's so many glitches. There's so many points where the audio just doesn't sound right, or they kind of wonk out a bit, if that makes sense, or the sound just isn't right.
Yeah.
So all right, we'll give them that. And some of these clips might not pass on YouTube because they might have been slated for, a demarcation, let's say, by Sirius.
Yeah, for sure.
Not being able to be used or copyright infringement. So there's that. But I just think that he is working a different schedule, but he's not leaving his house. He doesn't have the travel time, even though it wasn't that much.
Mm-hmm.
It's still his life is much easier and it's on his terms. And depending on whatever money he's getting, which we still don't know.
Yep.
It's just giving him this freedom to record at different times, but he's getting less time. It's just different hours.
Yeah. Clip number 3 is we work too hard.
Who's listening to that shit?
Well, that's what I said. But you want to know something? This guy's got it right. We're the idiots. This guy's got it right.
Hard.
Yeah. I got into radio so I wouldn't have to work hard. But I like obsess. I'm like, oh, the audience will know if I pre-tape everything. The audience will know. The audience will know. The audience doesn't give a shit. He's got plenty of listeners. They play the music, and then they're like, yeah, hey, I know.
Can I ask you a question? When did you ever really give a fuck if something was live or not, unless it was a news item and something you wanted, an update about?
I only get upset about it when someone's lying to me.
Yeah. If
they're going to tell me it's pre-recorded, I'm fine with that. Just tell me. Yeah. But don't lie to me and act like everything is on schedule like it used to be.
Right. So don't piss on me and tell me it's raining. The next clip is called "Turkey Needs Turkey."
Tonight.
Oh, she called you again?
She can call me. She wrote me an email saying, "Look, we analyzed your blood work, blah 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 blah." I hate to break the news to you, dude, but you got to eat chicken and turkey a couple of times a week. That's it. I'm going to do it. I don't know what it's going to be like. I haven't had it in so long, but
it's difficult when you first start back.
Yeah.
Because that happened to me after that big surgery.
This is the deprivation. And it was funny because she eventually outs herself. I don't know if it's this particular day or the next day where she admits, as if you didn't know from looking at her at the time, that she was off her vegan diet. It looked like she just fucking devoured a cow, doing these junkets after she was releasing Vegetation of Robin. So the doctors informed him, you're full of, basically you're an idiot. You've been an idiot all this time, and you would have avoided all this if you'd just done things like a normal human being.
Exactly. And yeah, Robin will admit that she was eating meat during the Vegetation of Robin book tour.
Yep.
And she felt like a fraud, but
and she was.
At least she admits it. I'll give her that.
8 years later.
A long time later.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway.
I was vegan before all of this. And so I hadn't eaten any animal product, including an egg. And I found that I was almost passing out at the end of the show. That's how bad off.
Well, that's what they found with me. They go, you have no energy. You're, it's great. Chickens are living, but you're going to die.
Dying.
Yeah. And I was like, you know what? If it comes down to me or a chicken, the chicken's going.
No kidding. Or any of the staff for that matter, or Beth or anybody else, or your children or your grandchildren for that matter. I'll give you an example. I gave up Pepsi just about 4 days ago. And I usually with Coca-Cola, when I give it up, which is usually a series of months, I get bad headaches, like bad withdrawal headaches from Coca-Cola, but not with Pepsi. With Pepsi, it's more like I'm sleeping more because there's no caffeine, and the loss of this much amount of sugar is affecting me so that I'm more lethargic throughout the day. Eventually that'll go away. I know that. I've been through the cycle before. But it's why, nicotine, like the companies make the cigarettes addictive. Same with sugar. Anything else you get out of your body, you have to readjust, but you do. I'm not jonesing for it. I don't think, even though he has to do this for himself, I don't think he really is going to enjoy whatever chicken he's got to eat.
Well, I just wonder, because a lot of vegetarians, when they switch back to meat, have really bad reactions to the meat, to the point where there's stomach pains, there's vomiting, there's diarrhea. Like, their body has a hard time adjusting. So if I was a nutritionist and I was advising him to get back into it, I would be like, take it slow.
Yeah.
But I don't know that he got that. So I'm just hoping he had like violent diarrhea, cramping, everything to go along with it. I'm hoping for the worst on all that. I just don't know.
Fair enough. Now, this next clip, we're going to go into Beth's diet for a bit. Beefus needs room for almond milk.
Refrigerator's full. I had to chop up a whole bunch of stuff like salads and vegetables and all kinds of stuff. Now Beth's annoyed because there's no room for her in the refrigerator. Like I have all these Tupperwares full of.
And they have one refrigerator. One.
Yeah.
Okay.
Allegedly.
Yeah.
She goes, honey, I need a little bit of space in the refrigerator. She's annoyed with my food. I know it. She's so annoyed. I wish she'd come on the air and talk about how annoyed she is with my.
What he's basically saying is that the entire fridge is filled up with his meals for the fucking week. He just reheats everything. He doesn't cook a meal to save his fucking life. Can't cook an egg with a bit of bread. Can't put like whatever. And that's all his pre-cooked shit that he just has to heat up. What a goddamn lazy piece of shit.
This cheap ass motherfucker is hiring a chef for one day to come in and cook 7 days worth of food that he's going to reheat and use throughout the week and whatever, fruits and vegetables. But once you cut that stuff up, it's only good for a couple days. It doesn't last that long.
Yeah.
I just don't get this.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Maybe the wine bottles in the fridge are getting in the way.
What is she eating? She's not going to eat along with you?
I can't. No, she laughs at me. She now found somebody sent her a box of Lucky Charms with, listen to this, Frosted Flakes inside the Lucky Charms. So it's a combo, Frosted Flakes and Lucky Charms. She is beside herself. She.
Was it you that said people who like abuse Adderall or something get sugar cravings or something like that? Was it a certain pill or a certain thing that creates cravings for sugar?
I don't think that was me. I don't remember saying that.
Okay. Then maybe it was someone else, or maybe it was something I read on the Facebook thing. But either way, I'm fascinated with Beth's diet more than because the more we're finally getting stuff.
She has the palate of a 6-year-old.
Yes.
Like if a 6-year-old could pick out in a grocery store what they want to eat for the week, this is what she would pick.
Yeah. Jesus, ding dongs.
Loves it. And she eats it silently and in private. She waits till I finish my breakfast and leave to go downstairs to work. So she's eating for breakfast Lucky Charms and Frosted Flakes.
Oh my fucking Lord, Bob D, you're gonna have fun with this one, man. We already go into the food episode, analyzing their food.
So I took it upon myself to do a breakdown of how many days Wiggy has worked this year, plus how many guests, and then do a percentage of the time we have guests. Would you like to guess what that percentage of the days he's worked and what percentage of those days he has guests in?
Okay, so basically percentage of guests so far in 2021.
Right. He's worked 47 days.
Okay.
As of May 12th.
I'm going to guess 15 days guests, maybe.
16, very close.
Ah, shit. Okay. Well, at least I'm under.
Works.
I could still qualify for the showcase showdown.
You hit the under, so that's good.
Yeah.
It's a total of 34% of the time we have guests. But keep in mind, we have Scott Schmirin, the hypnotist, and Dr. Agus, who are repeat guests that are kind of like friends of the show, not necessarily A-list celebs. And even like the guests that have worked out, I'll give some of them A-list cred, but not all of them.
No.
More like B,
B-.
Yeah. So that was just a fun thing we did. And he's averaging 9 days a month right now.
It's an amazing workload. When I say we work harder, I'm not joking, guys. I really am not. Not the hours. Sure. Because anyway, enough said about that. But so those are the figures. Those are all the figures.
Yeah, I mean, do you consider Eric Andre A-list?
No.
Or Mad Dog Russo?
Certainly not.
Triumph the Insult Dog, which was Bob Schmeigel.
Yeah, but that's D-list, straight D-list, like C-list, possibly, I guess. You know, when Conan was still on doing, I don't know if he still does Triumph, but yeah, D-list.
I mean, Kevin Hart, yes. Kristen Wiig, yes.
Yes.
Foo Fighters, Drew Barrymore, Tom Morello, Arsenio, Bob Odenkirk. I'll give them A.
Okay.
Even if it's an A-, I'll still give it to them because, yeah, they've had significant impact on our pop culture.
Right. but like an Emily Blunt is A-, maybe B+ at this point. I mean, it's all about, do they open films? Do they? And even in COVID, there are people still releasing films and getting, box office as limited as it is. Like a Scarlett Johansson would be A+. Any of the Marvel, and like of the Marvel guests would all be in A tier, more or less. It depends which ones. But even like a Michelle Pfeiffer, no longer hot, but she'd be A- because of her name.
Right. And we had Seth Rogen.
Yeah.
You mentioned Emily Blunt. And then we're getting Michael Che, who is the SNL news host. But we also had George Takei. So George Takei, not A-list. Sorry.
Takei. Just before we get a letter from Brad.
It was Colin Jost.
Yeah.
And he's dating Black Widow. But
yeah.
George Takei, no. Takei.
You say Takei, I say Takei. We all know it's okay. Tomato. The guys, I wanted to do a shout out for those of you who recently donated via PayPal or Patreon. So I'll do it real quick. Reggie Bowman, who's now regular. Sean S., if I haven't already mentioned you, thank you. Taylor B., Carol Cheney, once again, thank you. God bless you. You are a doll, and we accept anything. Brian C., a guy named T, the initial T. That's how he's so, his name's so pimp, he doesn't even need anything. Just an initial is fine. Katie E., Alex, who's a regular long timer on QF, especially on the YouTube channel, and believe it or not, from Casey Armstrong. And it was kind of amazing. He wrote a note and he sent us some money. I won't say how much, but he said, I just wrote you guys a long note, and this Verizon piece of shit Apple phone erased it all. Basically, I want to know how talented you are, and I admire your ability to pull clips and dissect every sentence. It's really impressive. I have a feeling the guy I worked for years would give you the credit and the wit and the incredible angles you take to entertain us. I just wanted to say thank you and how much of a fan I am. All is fair in comedy, right? Thanks again, Casey Armstrong. Now, I only normally I would not out people for what they donate, and I still don't. I mean, just the fact that anybody donates is wonderful, and we appreciate it. But I thought it was nice to hear from KC, considering we're a uniformly negative podcast about his ex-boss. So, yeah, go ahead.
I just want to say thank you, Casey. Really appreciate it. I read your note a couple times. I thought it was really sweet, and we appreciate it. And you're right. All's fair in comedy.
Yep.
So that's what we're doing. We're trying to entertain.
That's right. And if you'd like to come in for an interview, dude, you've got carte blanche. Just let us know. And it would not necessarily be, I think if you listen to the Richie Wilson interview, and if you listen to the Bob Levy, it doesn't necessarily have to be negative unless it's where the person wants to go. And if whoever we interview, so we're more than happy to have you on, would be great. And you'd have a fucking kick-ass time. I know that much.
Yeah. We interviewed Jackie.
Yeah.
And Jackie was a great guest. Got a lot of interesting information out of him. Same with Bob and same with Richie. So we'd love to hear your point of view.
Yep.
What you have to say.
Especially on certain bits, and we want to know if you're still serenading the meat. I think that's about it on this end. Thank you guys so much. We're going to try to get these breakdowns sent to you. We're going to push them through as fast as we can, and we got a lot of great episodes in store for you for the rest of the month and the month of June and July, guys. It's really going to be good. So thank you so much, Raven, my dear. You do such an incredible job, and thank you guys all for listening. You give us our comments wherever you like. Podbean, Spotify. Well, I can't find them on Spotify, so don't bother with that. YouTube channel, and join our Facebook group if it strikes your fancy.
Thank you so much. Love you guys. Bye.
Take care, guys. We love you.
Gay boy, rock star, friends with Allison, oxycodone, off context, my child, through pills, social worker, CNN. Off context. Press release, Beverly Hills, lunch snack,
I like you a lot.
Black guy at Wendy's.
Going, come on, you're great. This is great.
Linda Perry, Road Songs, Patty and Samantha, Women Give, Jessica Cincy, I'm happy.
ADT, okay.
ADT.
There he is.
Divine bass players.